And we switch our FA Cup attention to Sellers Park. We're right on cue. The teams are emerging from the tunnel away to our right-hand side. It is Crystal Palace of the Premier League against Stockport County of League One, the third tier. 36 league places between them, and we are ready for more FA Cup drama. Congratulations to Doncaster, through to the fourth round, having beaten Hull on penalties. Tamworth have just gone 2-0 down against Tottenham in extra time. You can listen to the closing stages of that over on our sister station, BBC Radio 5 Live. But here on Sports Extra, I'm Conor McNamara, joined by Steve Sidwell. And hopefully, Steve, another exciting FA Cup 90 minutes, maybe more to come.
No, I think so. Stockport County here arriving for another cup upset. We didn't know what the squad or the team was going to be like with Crystal Palace, with the rumours of illness and injuries. They're strong, which is great to see from what Krasner's done there, but I think this is going to be a really entertaining game. We can just about see the travelling fans on the far side of the pitch. Looks like they've brought their capacity. It's a great atmosphere. I love coming to Sellers Park. It's all built up for a great cup tie.
These sides have only ever met once before in the FA Cup. It was a very long time ago. Crystal Palace won in the second round in 1933. Palace, who, from what we've told, have not had the ideal preparation for this tie. As Steve alluded to, a bug has swept through the Premier League squad. We expected Oliver Glasner to be without several options today. He does make 5 changes. There was word of some under-21s being promoted to the senior squad today, but they're not down to those sort of bare bones. It is 5 changes, but everyone who might be involved today has played in the Premier League before. This is a strong Crystal Palace team.
It's testament to Glasner. You know, they competition and cup competitions that he's won in terms of his playing career as a manager, where he's been on his travels, so he wants to progress. And I believe a good cup run, especially this time of year, then coming into the new year, could just kickstart and give Palace that new lease of life towards the end of the season as well.
Well, we'll give you a rundown of the teams. Matt Turner, who's yet to make his Crystal Palace debut. He's only played 1 League Cup match for the club so far. He comes in to play in goal behind 3 central defenders: Chris Richards, Mark Gehi and Chadley Riyad. Then there's a line of 4 with Daniel Munoz and Nathaniel Klein as wing-backs, we reckon. Daichi Kamada joins Jefferson Lerma in the middle of the midfield. And then 2 attacking players, Ismail Assar and Ebericha Eze, in support of Eddie Nketiah, who has had a long wait for a Premier League goal for Crystal Palace. Did score in the League Cup against his old team Arsenal last month, and he would love to have an FA Cup goal as he tries to kickstart his Crystal Palace career. Nketiah, who Palace paid £30 million to sign in the summer, and partly it's to do with the impressive form of Jean-Philippe Mateta, but Nketiah will know that he can play better than what we've seen so far, and this is an opportunity for him to get goals against League One opposition. There were 4 changes for Stockport from their last game. They were beaten at home by Mansfield in the league last Saturday. Corey Adai is one of the changes, hasn't played in the league since November. The Jamaican starts in goal today. 3 central defenders: Callum Connolly, Macaulay Southam-Hales and Ethan Pye. Then there's 2 wing-backs, Kyle Noel and Ibu Toure, with Odin Bailey and Callum Camps in the midfield. Isaac Olafe comes into the side, former Millwall player. He will sit with Will Collar, who makes his 150th appearance for Stockport, and they are behind Kyle Wootton, the top scorer, the man who has scored more goals for Stockport County than any other current player. We are underway. Stockport wearing their change strip, which is a sort of a light shade of pink. They will play from left to right as we look down. Palace in their traditional blue and red stripes. Kamada inside the centre circle rolls it back to Chris Richards. The pitch looks in very good nick, as all the Premier League grounds do, despite the bad weather we've had lately. Now this is Mark Gehi, who's begun on the right hand side of the back 3, and it is Nathaniel Klein who's starting on the left hand side.
Yeah, it's a bit of a... We didn't know, was it a bit of guesswork before the game in terms of how Palace was going to line up. You know, I'm really pleased to see that they've gone strong. They're going to look to try and put this game to bed and create chances, try and score early, dominate possession. We know Stockport, you know, seeing them a couple of times, they like to have possession, they like to get on the ball and knock it around, especially with someone like Ollie Norwood, who's on the bench today. It gives others the opportunity to come in and show their skills, but both teams at the moment, well, also Palace, just getting a feel for the ball. A lot of players coming short, wanting to feel. The pitch looks great. It's all about getting on the floor, creating chances, keeping the width. Can we get in the box and get numbers in there and be clinical?
Crystal Palace 0, Stockport County 0. The early stages on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Shelly Riyadh plays the ball up towards Ebericha Eze. Eze, so comfortable the ball, lays it off to Nketiah, receives it back again. This is 10 yards outside the Stockport penalty area, and across comes Kyle Noyle to touch it out for a Palace throw on the left-hand side. Stockport County hoping to reach the 4th round for the first time in almost quarter of a century. Their route to this 3rd round, they've beaten 2 non-league sides to get here. They won against Forest Green Rovers, they won against Brackley Town to get this glamour 3rd round tie against Premier League opposition. Ismail Assar has the ball for Palace just inside the Stockport penalty area. Kamada gets it here near the centre circle. The big decision that Stockport County have to make here is how much are they going to try and press Palace. I was at Anfield yesterday where Accrington Stanley did really well for the opening half an hour. Then they began to press, they got confident and they were sending players up the field, and that's when Liverpool caught them and they ended up losing by 4 goals in the end. So will Stockport decide you've got to chase the dream, you've got to throw everything at it, or will they try and be a little bit more cautious as Nketiah tries to get onto the ball on the edge of the penalty area, and it's hoofed away by Ethan Pye.
Yeah, I think we can tell straight away at the opening minute to this game, Stockport 5 at the back. You know, when the wing backs get back, they look really solid. 3 really narrow in front, and then the 2 just sitting there really trying to be compact, disciplined, trying to make it hard for Crystal Palace. It's going to be key today to use that width, and when they get into that final third, really be explosive with intent.
Riyadh, left-hand side coming out of defence from Palace. Eze right up against the chalk of the touchline on the left wing, tries to weave in field. Will Collar wasn't able to knock him off his stride, and he chips a brilliant ball to Munoz, tees it up for Ismail Assar, couldn't get the shot away 10 yards out. Lerma will drill it in, it deflects away by Ethan Pye. That was really dangerous, and the Premier League team came so close to taking an early lead at Selhurst Park.
Well, there we go, it was down to that man Eze, wasn't it, on this left-hand side, just dribbled inside, had a look up, and he just placed a lovely, delightful ball to the far post. We said about using the width, and that's where Munoz was.
This is Klein on the left-hand side for Crystal Palace. They've begun the game at a good tempo. Rolls it back to the halfway line. Chris Richards, no high press on him. Palace can build their way forward again. A reminder, no replays today. Just as we saw the Tamworth against Tottenham game, if it stays level at 90 minutes, it goes to extra time. Kamada into the penalty area, tries to pull it back for Eze. What a great turn, what a goal! Into the bottom corner. That's the Premier League quality that Stockport County are up against today. Eze, in these opening minutes, we've only played 4 minutes, he's looked sparkling, and he puts it into the bottom corner almost with ease. A 5th goal of the season for Ebericha Eze, and Stockport County have it all to do now. Crystal Palace 1, Stockport 0.
It's an absolutely superb start from Crystal Palace, dominating possession, taking their time, probing. It all comes down to Kamada when he picks up the ball in that final third. He darts in towards the 18-yard box. It ricochets when it comes back to Eze, who just finds half a yard. You know what he's going to do when he tries to come inside, and he wraps his foot round it low and hard. It's like a Thierry Henry-esque finish into the bottom corner. He's had a bright start, so Crystal Palace.
That's a very good description. You've got to be careful handing out the Thierry Henry comparisons, don't you? But that's how good it was. Ebericha Eze, the balance, the flow, the ease at which he tucked it away. It's an excellent start for Crystal Palace here, and what was already going to be an enormous task for Stockport County has just got that bit much harder.
I mean, just going back on the finish there, we said about what Eze done there. He knew when he wanted to come inside, got half a yard, and you see some players now try to go for the spectacular goal, the spectacular finish, where they want to wrap it in the top corner. He's literally just... It's like a side foot, pass just into the corner. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's dropping deep in now in his own 18-yard box. It looks like today he could have a field day for Eze.
BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Selhurst Park rocking, Crystal Palace in front. Palace who have improved after what was, remember, a poor start to the season. They did really well the back end of last campaign after Oliver Glasner came in. Of course, that improved performance led to increased expectations. Palace finishing in the top 10 of the Premier League for only the 2nd time in the Premier League era. But they did find it difficult. Michael Olise, of course, his sale to Bayern Munich was a big part of it. but it took them 8-10 games to get into their stride. However, you look back over the last 12 Premier League matches, Palace have only lost twice, and they have rediscovered the confidence, the skill that they displayed in that second half of last season. Here is Kyle Hutton, the centre forward for Stockport, winning a flick on header, but he can only give it to Chadli Riyad, and Chadli Riyad's clearance up towards the halfway line comes straight back towards him. Here's Olafe, tall, athletic looking number 9, but he shows too much of it to the tricky Kamada, and the Japanese international is in to win possession back for Palace. Palace have been so professional about what they do. They're treating this like a Premier League game, and they have got themselves in front as a reward already.
Yeah, they've got respect for their opposition. I think the team talk beforehand would have been, don't underestimate these. You know, they're in good form. Stockport County just outside the playoffs. You know, you give them time and space on the ball, they will hurt you with the players that they have got on the pitch. But Crystal Palace here really showing some intent to dominate this game early, get through unscathed, you know, get as many goals as they can, early as they can, and try and get into the next round with ease.
It's the first time in his career that Eberechi Eze has scored an FA Cup goal. Defending for Stockport to do here. Ethan Pye forced back into the left full-back position as he tried to turn. Eddie Nketiah clattered into the back of him, and that is going to be a free kick to Stockport inside their own penalty area. We've only played 7.5 minutes. There's been a lot of action already. That Eze goal. A reminder, no VAR today, no video assistant referee. There is goal line technology in operation. VAR will come in from the 5th round onwards. This the 144th season of the FA Cup. The qualifying rounds began back in August, and in 133 days' time, May 25th, the FA Cup final will be held at Wembley. Not a million years since Crystal Palace got to an FA Cup final, 2016. The Palace fans would love a run, love a big day out north of the capital.
It brings back fond memories. Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. I went to one of my first games, the FA Cup final in 1990 against Manchester United, and they wore the black and yellow kit in the replay. And I grew up a couple of miles down the road from Sellers Park. Palace was the team I used to watch as a kid. I used to come here all the time. Used to be a couple of quid. Me and my dad used to sit and watch Ian Wright, Mark Bright, the good old days. Long affiliation with Crystal Palace, friends of the family, Steve Coppell, Steve Kember, Jim Cannon. We go a long way back.
Palace with a great FA Cup pedigree. Stockport County realising what they're up against, and crowd here at Sellers always seems to rise to the occasion. You know, this is far from the biggest Premier League ground, but it's always got one of the biggest atmospheres. As Jefferson Lerma retreats towards the edge of his area here, Wootton has chased him down. Lerma, all control, just eases it back to Matt Turner, and the American comes out through the back with Riyad into Kamada. And they're making use of the smooth surface Palace as they crisply pass their way up to the halfway line. Lerma tries to release Ismail Assar. Early delivery, cut out by Ethan Pye. And near the halfway line, this is Odin Bailey. Bailey, who celebrated his birthday recently, turned 25. But as he tries to turn, he's immediately tackled, and the ball goes out of play for a Stockport County throw.
Yeah, that's where Crystal Palace don't want to fall into that trap of going too fast from back to front. You know, they dominate the first 5 minutes, and that's how they got their goal. I think there with Gahey, you know, Ismail Assar made a running behind. The quality of the pass wasn't really there. He had time and space to really knock it around, make a few more passes rather than go direct too early.
You mentioned no replay. You mentioned the FA Cup final replay that Palace played in many years ago. No replays this time, of course, which is a shame for Tamworth. They've been beaten after extra time by Tottenham. 3-0 in the end as the Premier League quality shone through. But in a parallel universe, Tamworth would have got a replay. It finished 0-0 after 90 minutes. That would have been a huge day out for them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a big payday too. It does feel a shame that Tamworth are denied that replay, and the fact that they've sort of crumbled after an excellent 90 minutes, losing 3-0 in the end after extra time. But that's the way it goes. Doncaster won't be complaining. They've beaten Hull on penalties, having gone through extra time. It was 1-1 at the end of 120 minutes in that one. Here, Stockport behind early. The goal was scored by Eberechi Eze, and you've got to go back 3 years for the last time Stockport conceded first in an FA Cup game but came back to win. But they did do it against Charlton Athletic, a club not from a million miles away from here, and that was 2 seasons ago, in fact, not 3. Here's a chance. What an opportunity! Ball into the box by Olafay, and Kyle Wootton should have scored. He ran brilliantly to the back post. He arrived just where he needed to be, but he's put his shot from close range on the wrong side of the post. Oh, Stockport should have equalised there.
Well, it's a ball down his right-hand side, and Olafay takes it really well and brings it inside. He puts a delightful ball right across the face of the 6-yard box, and this is where Crystal Palace can't drop their levels. They have to be professional. Gahey, I think, was on the right-hand side. It looked as though he was just going to leave the ball, but Wootton was there, didn't get enough purchase on it, and just wrapped around the back of the post.
Well, here's some FA Cup magic to report to you. Newcastle are playing Bromley this afternoon. There are 75 league places between them. Bromley in the third round for the first time ever. The score in that game is Newcastle 0, Bromley 1. Cameron Congreve has scored a famous goal that he'll be living off for the rest of his life. Long way to go there, but Newcastle are behind. Here at Sellers, Eddie Nketiah attacks down the left-hand side, tries to swing in across, and it blocks off the first defender and goes out for a Crystal Palace corner.
Yeah, good reaction from Crystal Palace, but just going back there to Stockport County's chance. You don't feel as though they're going to get too many today if Crystal Palace are at it, but the chances they do get, they have to be clinical, and that one there was just crucial.
And so the corner's going to be taken by Kamada. Left-hand side as Palace come forward. They're playing right to left as we look down. Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. The goal inside 4 minutes. Mark Gahey has gone forward to join the attack here. The corner is taken short. Played by Ismail Assar to the edge of the box. Eze tried to control it. Too many players in front of him to take it down. Klein will give it short and receive it back again from Nketiah. And the space for Lerma on the right-hand side. BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra, the FA Cup third round this Sunday afternoon. Newcastle trailing. You can listen to commentary of that right now on our sister station 5 Live. Ipswich are playing Bristol Rovers this afternoon as well. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff. Later on, there will be Southampton against Swansea. 12 league places just between them, but stretched by Ethan Pye to get to the ball on the edge of the penalty area, just in front of Daichi Kamada, and he slides in to put it out for another Crystal Palace corner.
Yeah, good interception there from Pye, but Kamada there, he's the one who's breaking from midfield, just trying to stretch that Stockport County back line, and when they want to really pass the ball fast and translate into a quick attack, they can do it, Palace.
Latest corner again is played short. It's another rehearsed move, doesn't come off though. So Will Collar clears the ball away for Stockport. They'd brought everyone back to defend the corner, so there's no one to receive it on the halfway line. Daniel Klein, former Liverpool, Southampton player, rolls it over to the right-hand side, Jefferson Lerma. It's interesting, Lerma continues to drop back into that kind of right full-back position regularly, allowing Munoz to come forward. Munoz, who's been in the goals in the top flight lately, but he's pretty much a right winger today.
Well, Munoz and Klein on either side there, really pushing high and wide, dropping Stockport County back into that sort of back five as such, but it shows intent from Crystal Palace.
Here's Nketiah, just to get down on the edge of the penalty area. Pye is the defender, has to be careful inside the box. Nketiah runs back out of the penalty area, does well to keep the ball in play. Kamada, little dink into the box. Sarr's going to try and get onto this one. What a clever back heel. Munoz, tight angle, tries to play it into the centre, and it deflects away and out for a corner. There were some complaints. I think Stockport thought there was a handball in the build-up there, but the referee says no, and that is a corner kick to Crystal Palace. They've had a lot of these in the early stages. 1-0 Palace so far. They
have, yeah. Good work there from Nketiah. Unselfish play when he's going out wide, making them runs into the channels, dragging players out wide, allows time and space for someone like Munoz that can get in there. Clever back heel, really intelligent play from Crystal Palace, and another corner.
Arsenal against Manchester United is up and underway. No goals there after 15 minutes. As he's preparing to take the corner on the right hand side, here it comes towards the front post. Jumping was Will Collar, and he obviously didn't get the last touch up, but it was Munoz because the referee says that's not a corner, that is a goal kick. So Stockport, who conceded a very classy goal to Eberechi Eze. Otherwise, there's not much to criticise about what they've done. Not much you can legislate. That goal would have got into the Premier League, such as the quality of it. And Stockport have got to try and keep the confidence up here. Just getting to see a replay of that, I thought that was a corner, but no VAR to give a little whisper in the referees here. And goal kick is the decision. Adai clears it up towards the tall Kyle Wootton, but he's not able to find a teammate with his flick on. Here is Kyle Noyle on the right hand side, slipping as he tries to play it forward, and the ball goes straight out of play, and that is a throw into Crystal Palace left full back position for them. Steve Sidwell.
I think that's going to be the key now for Stockport County, is just stay in the game. You know, they don't want to throw this cup tie away of leaking in another goal, being 2-0 down. No, that's still a dangerous scoreline, because if they get one back, they're straight back in it. But just calm down. You know, it's a long time to play. You know, keep to their game plan. That back five, the three that are tight and narrow in front, and when they can break away, they do it at pace. Get numbers forward and be brave. They don't want to just sit back and go at this cup tie not being brave.
Gehi to Munoz, far side of the pitch from us, the right as Palace come forward. Gehi gets it again, rolls it back to Chris Richards, the former Bayern Munich player. And then Chadi Riyad comes over the halfway line, and Daniel Klein finds himself outnumbered but finds himself fouled. Whistle from the referee Stuart Atwell, and that will be a free kick to Palace just inside Stockport territory. Stuart Atwell, who in midweek you might have seen made history, first Premier League referee to make an on-field explanation of the VAR decision over the loudspeakers. So he's gone from right at the top of the technology back to old school stuff here, with no VAR in the FA Cup today for Stuart Atwell. This is Gehi on the right hand side for Palace. Palace, as we were going to expect all along, have dominated possession here so far, and Stockport just hope they can hit them on a counter-attack. They've had one big opportunity. If you're just joining our coverage here, across inside the 6-yard box, came fizzing through. Woodton of the back post should have scored, and it's a reminder that there is a way for Stockport to get back in this game, albeit they trail by a goal to nil for now. Kyle Noyle clears it away down the right wing. This is one for Olafe to chase after, but he's beaten to it comfortably by Chris Richards. Confident first touch from Richards back into the goalkeeper. Even though Kyle Woodton was there, he trusted himself to make the pass, and Matt Turner's clearance was a little hurried. That goes straight out of play for a Stockport throw.
I'm really impressed. We're now 18 minutes in. They look really confident, Crystal Palace. They look fluid in their movement. You know, you've got Eze dropping deep, you've got Kamada going in behind. A few Palace fans that I know that come here week in, week out, and it feels as though it's a bit stagnant sometimes around the pitch. It's a little bit sort of pragmatic, much more sort of fluid, as I say, in their movement and interchanging.
Palace have struggled for home wins this season. They beat bottom club Southampton here 2 weeks ago. That was only their second home Premier League win of the campaign. The other was when Tottenham came here in October, but Palace fans arriving today expecting to beat League One Stockport County, and their team are still ahead thanks to that early Eberiche Eze goal. We've played almost 20 minutes. The pass is too far in front of Eberiche Eze, but Oliver Glasner enthusiastically claps the idea down there. Kamada's ball goes out for a Stockport throw. Stockport, who have beaten Palace 4 times in the past. It's not so long ago really that these two teams were both in the Championship together. Stockport hoping to go back up to the Championship next season, and they're 3 points outside the playoff spots in League One at the moment. Last 5 times though that Stockport have played in the third round of the FA Cup, they have been beaten on each occasion. Noyle prepares to take a throw in on the right hand side, takes his time over it, waits for his teammates to get settled, throws it infield towards Callum Camps. His low ball into the penalty area is immediately cleared away by Chris Richards for Crystal Palace. Lerma won't get onto the flick on in the midfield though. It's Odin Bailey who rolls it to Ibu Toure on the left hand side. Toure, who came through the youth system at Everton, he never made a senior appearance at Goodison Park. His ball down the left hand side is kept in play by the byline by Munoz. He plays a little 1-2 with Jefferson Lerma, and Palace in motion again up towards the halfway line. Ismail Assar, 2 opponents around him, and he's right up against the touchline, and he wasn't able to keep it in play. That's good pressure from Stockport. They win a throw in just outside the Crystal Palace penalty area. Take it quickly to Odin Bailey. He tries to send in across. Munoz blocked it expertly. That's really good defending from the Colombian. Palace clear it away up towards Eddie Nketiah. 3 defenders around him, nearly loses it. Lerma's going to lose it here, is he? No, the referee blows the whistle. There was a foul by Callum Camps. Free kick to Palace midway inside their own half. Palace still lead 1-0.
Well, good pressure there from Stockport County there, knowing that when they can put pressure on Crystal Palace high, they need to do that. They need to be brave and do that, not just individually, collectively as well, because if one goes, they all need to go with it. But just looking at how they line up, especially with Wood to the top, he's a big presence, a strong lad. it'd be down to him. Can he dominate the Crystal Palace back three when balls come up? They need to come up with quality, of course, first and foremost, but can he get hold of it? And then can that support come up in terms of 1-2, get it out, balls out wide, get bodies into the box? But it's going to be a slow process for Stockport, I think, this afternoon.
Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Manchester United. Newcastle have got themselves an equaliser against Bromley. Bromley, who scored after 8 minutes. Newcastle have equalised after 16. And Miley with a goal there. Newcastle 1, Bromley 1. And here is Nathaniel Klein into the penalty area for Palace. Good defending. Sliding back to put it out was Callum Connolly. That is a corner to Palace on the left-hand side.
Too easy there for Crystal Palace. Their gaps are open between the lines of Stockport County there. Kamada again, who's in an advanced position. Lovely little flick into Klein. Got to the byline. You just feel as though instead of crossing it, could he have just chopped the Stockport defender, committed himself? He was on the floor. A bit more quality maybe.
So a Palace corner. Riyad has gone in to stand on the goal line. There's another player. It is Gehi standing right in front of the goalkeeper. Here's the delivery into the 6-yard box, and it goes just into the side netting. Came down off Gehi, I think, initially. Looked like it might have been looping towards the corner, but in the end it comes off the side netting. Goal kick to Stockport County.
Yeah, just looking at the replay, it was a floated delivery. I think Richards climbs high first, gets contact back towards the near post. Gehi's the one who first reacts, and I mean, he's 2 or 3 yards past the post. He just can't react quick enough to direct the ball back towards goal. Hits the side netting.
Commentary of that Newcastle-Bromley game available over on 5 Live right now. Coming up later on here on Sports Extra, we'll have Rugby Union Champions Cup, Bath against Clermont Auvergne. Premiership leaders Bath going in search of a first Champions Cup win of the season. Later on this evening, it's the NFL wild card round from 9 o'clock our time. Green Bay Packers will be at Philadelphia Eagles. You can listen to that here on Sports Extra. This is a chance for Stockport. Callum Camps, from a long way out, he decided to buy a ticket to try and win the lottery, but I'll tell you what, he was miles out. He would have needed to be world class, and it was comfortably saved by Matt Turner.
It was sloppy play from Crystal Palace. This is where they can't drop their levels. They need to be disciplined, keep the levels high. Gehi with a sloppy ball into that middle sort of section, really on the halfway line, and Camps was lively. He was on the front foot. It broke forward. I thought, why not have a shot? It was a dipping shot, wasn't it, in front of Turner? You'd expect him to pick it up nice and comfortably, but test the Crystal Palace keeper from a distance. Why not?
So it is 1-0 to Palace still here at Selhurst Park against League One Stockport County. Palace attacking down the right and winning a throw-in for themselves. There is one FA Cup third-round game tomorrow. Millwall take on Dagenham and Redbridge. That is a 7:30 start to complete the third round. But we will already know the fourth round draw by then. That's taking place this afternoon after the Arsenal-Manchester United game, which is still 0-0, by the way. They've played 25 minutes there. Palace sending a lot of bodies forward here. The throw-in on the right hand side is level with the edge of the penalty area. Jefferson Lerma's adjusting his gloves. He's obviously going to try and sling this in as far as he can. Eberiche Eze's goal separating the teams at Selhurst. Cold day, but there's no real wind whipping around, certainly not where we're sitting, so it doesn't feel too bad. There's no wind chill here as the throw-in makes it all the way into the 6-yard box. Callum Connolly clears it back out. Another chance to cross for Lerma, but he's put too much on that. It sails over everyone, and it goes out for a Stockport County throw on the right-hand side. Steve.
Talking of the cold, Connor, what's it been like the last few times you've worked? Where's been the coldest destination?
Well, I was at Liverpool yesterday, and the gantry position we have there, the wind really whips through, so you need all the layers there. I mean, I was considering, the way you'd sort of wear a vest or something under your... I was actually considering getting a swim cap or something and putting that under my woolly hat to create just a little extra layer. I mean, it was that cold. How about you? Any cold outings?
I had a few over Christmas on the games covering it on pitch side, but
I saw you. Was that the Fulham Chelsea game?
There was a Fulham Chelsea game. Yeah, that was.
You were nearly blown away.
I was nearly blown away. Yeah, it was eventful to say the least. But today feels mild where we are. We're quite lucky.
We are indeed. We're well covered up here at Selhurst Park. Eberiche Eze's goal separating the teams. Doncaster through to the fourth round, having beaten Hull earlier on today on penalties. Tottenham are through. They did it the hard way though, beating Tamworth 3-0 after extra time. Palace in front here. Ipswich have gone 2-0 up against Bristol Rovers in other of the 3 o'clock games. Calvin Phillips and Jack Clark have scored there. Ipswich 2, Bristol Rovers 0. as the ball bounces in front of Kyle Wootton on the halfway line. He's a big, tall centre forward, but as soon as he took the ball down there, not one, not two, three Palace players around him. That's what Stockport County are up against today.
Well, that's where he's going to need to be a bit stronger, a bit more clever, move the ball or shield the ball, get his body in there. He's a big presence, but that must be a game plan again from Crystal Palace. When he does collect it, we don't win it from the behind. Can we get support in front and sandwich him?
Stumbled from Eze. He's given away the ball. Isaac Olafe tries to take it down the right wing. No room there, so Stockport hold on to possession, but to do so they've got to retreat. And Kyle Noyle back to the edge of his own penalty area, rolls it for the goalkeeper Adai, gives it back again to Kyle Noyle. And a bit of humour for the Stockport fans who are now trying to cheer every pass. Let's see if they can keep it going here. Wootton with the flick on, but he gives it away to Mark Gahey, and then the boost of the Stockport fans as Palace regain possession. They don't hold on to it for long. Callum Connolly. This is Ethan Pye up towards the halfway line. Palace aren't messing around. With Stockport up possession, they work really hard to put them under pressure.
They do, and when Stockport County have the ball, they need to keep possession longer. I suppose when they're in their own division, when they've got the ball, there'll be pressure, but I'm sure they're comfortable enough to knock it around. In terms of the Premier League of opposition, when they give the ball over, Crystal Palace will have the ball for longer than them, so they're not probably used to having that in their own way.
Stockport, who haven't won a game since before Christmas. They've had 2 draws, 2 defeats since their last victory. They're doing okay here as they come in the attack down the right-hand side. Noyle's ball in. That's good. Wootton jumps just too high for him. It's a decent delivery in there, but Palace had plenty back. Here is Toure on the left-hand side. Gives it up towards the edge of the penalty area. Chance to shoot. Not a bad effort at all. It came in from Odin Bailey, but it was to the ribcage of the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, and he held it firm.
Oh, good play from Stockport. They used the width down this right-hand side. Cross comes in. They've got bodies in the box, which causes a bit of confusion for Crystal Palace. When the ball gets cleared out, they regain it again well from Camps, recycle it round to Bailey, who cuts inside. A decent enough shot. Again, Turner, he's tested. They've still got to be on it, Crystal Palace. This tie is going to be it's going to go the distance, I believe.
Odin Bailey, who has scored 3 goals this season for Stockport County. He scored, in fact, the last time Stockport won a game. That was against Peterborough last month in League One. Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. Abaricha Eze's 5th goal of the season. As Palace have it at the back. Chris Richards rolls to his right-hand side to Mark Gahey, over the halfway line to Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah, who's yet to have a clear-cut chance of the game. And in fact, you take away the goal, Palace haven't exactly been riddling Corey Adai's goal with attempts of their own. They have had a threat about them, but there hasn't been much on target from Oliver Glasner's team. This is Chris Richards rolling it to Mark Gahey, just inside his own half, picks out Kamada, first-time layoff to Nketiah. Midway inside the Stockport County half. Now Munoz will step in off the right wing, running across the field from right to left, but pressure on him from Bayliss, who will retreat back to the centre circle again, and back to Chris Richards. Palace have had a good tempo all day, just holding on to it here around the halfway line, leading by Abaricha Eze's goal to 0. We've played almost half an hour. Gahey, 10 yards into the opposition half, short ball to Kamada, back to Richards again where it all started. Inside his own half. That's a poor ball from Richards. Stockport County will regain possession inside their own half. Callum Camps rolls it back to the goalkeeper Adai, and under pressure on his goal line from an onrushing Eddie Nketiah. He only just about got that one away.
Didn't look overly confident there, did he? Adai took his time. Again, probably not used to the intense Premier League opposition, but didn't look overly confident there. But
just about got it away. This is the trouble for Stockport. They have to work so hard to win possession, and time again they're giving it away quickly, and they've got to find a way to hold on to possession. Most importantly, they definitely don't want to go 2-0 down ahead of half-time. This is Gahey on the halfway line. Infield to Jefferson Lerma. Little pocket of space for him as he tries to get away from Wootton. Wootton has fouled him from behind. That's a free kick to Palace, just outside of shooting distance. It's fully 15, almost 20 yards outside the penalty area.
Yeah, that might just be a cause for concern. Some of them balls that have just been slid from the back 3 of Crystal Palace into that middle third, a bit too easy. That midfield line, the gaps are opening, which allows then the Crystal Palace players to turn on the ball and start driving it. That Stockport County back 3 or back 5, but free kick in a dangerous position. I think it's one of the ones where it's probably too far out to have a shot. Trying to be clipped into the far post, but the magic man Eze is on it, and we know that he can produce anything.
Yeah, it's a long way out here, but Stockport County have erected a 3-man wall just to be sure. Eze is picking out a bit of turf from between his studs. You would imagine he'll try and dink this, but with Eze you never quite know. Still Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Still Ipswich leading Bristol Rovers 2-0. Newcastle still at 1-1 against Bromley. Eze does flick it into the box, but it bounces comfortably into the gloves of Corey Adai. And he was trying to just think outside the box there, Eze, but it didn't quite work.
I think he just had a little glance at Eddie Nketiah, the little bit of eye contact to just sort of show that if you're running behind, I'm ready to just flick that over as soon as you go. He had too much on it and straight through to Adai. But Crystal Palace, they just need to, when Stockport County get back into that shape, they just need to move the ball with a purpose. Don't just keep the ball for keeping it for sake. You know, you move that ball around from side to side, and then once that, all it needs now is to be half a yard or a yard. When them gaps appear, can you then dissect through and be at pace?
Busy midweek of live football to come on 5 Live. We'll bring in Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. That's going to be a good game on Tuesday. High-flying Forest taking on the league leaders Liverpool. At Stockport, play it high into the penalty area. Wootton's won it in the air, tried to get it down for Olafe, but the angle was tight, the proximity of the keeper was close, and Matt Turner is able to gather it away from Olafe.
Well, Wootton there, he gets first contact onto it. It's a good ball in from the left-hand side. It's just probably too high for Olafe. He couldn't bring it down on his chest. He's tried to cushion it with his head, and that goes straight through to Turner. But a good threat there from Stockport County.
Well, they haven't got into the Palace penalty area much, but when they have done, they've been there in numbers and they've been there in dangerous positions, and that bodes well for Dave Challoner's side. Palace will come out from the back. Richards over to Gehi. This time he goes long, searching for the run of Munoz, cut out by Ethan Pye. Ball is still in play though. Palace have got it. This is Jefferson Lerma, 10 yards outside the penalty area, flicks it backwards to Riyad. Now Eze, pocket of space for him, left-hand side, gives it in with the outside of the right boot to pick out Eddie Nketiah inside the penalty area. Back to goal though, and he was offside when the pass was played. The whistle is blown. Eddie Nketiah offside.
He does that so well, Eze, when he just got the ball on this left-hand side. He shifts the ball with his right foot with the inside of it, and then plays it with the outside of it round the person that's marking him, and he tries to, that goes into the front man, who is on this term Eddie Nketiah. He tries to get on the rebound, but Eddie Nketiah there just a bit lazy, I'd say, just not getting back on side.
Other live football coming up this week on 5 Live. On Wednesday it's Arsenal against Tottenham, the North London derby, and on Thursday Manchester United host Southampton at Old Trafford, another game you can listen to live on our sister station 5 Live. Here on Sports Extra, FA Cup third round, Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. Kyle Wootton done really well there against Riyad, trying to flick it infield towards Olafe, but it was taken away from him, and suddenly Stockport have to run back defending once more, and Noyle will roll it to the goalkeeper Adai. Wootton's done well though, that number 9 role, which could be a thankless task sometimes, trying to hold it up, trying to win the flick-ons, but he's done well against Riyad and Gehi and Richards, and that time he leaves a little boot in cheeky on Chiad Riyad, and it was spotted by the assistant who was right beside it. Free kick to Crystal Palace.
Wootton, he knows exactly what he's doing there. It's one of the ones where it just comes out to his left-hand side, it's bouncing up. Riyad there tries to clear his lines, it's just coming up, and he just sort of, he goes to block the ball down the channel. No yellow card, but once as a striker, we used to see a lot in the olden days that you can just leave a bit on your opponent and walk away unscathed.
Yeah, there's no Louis Barry today, but Kyle Wootton has otherwise been top scorer for Stockport County this season. Palace have got possession midway inside their own half. This is Mark Gehi. Plays a little 1-2. Palace fully in control, hoping to add to their 1-goal advantage here at Selhurst Park. Ismail Assar back to Gehi, right hand side of the pitch as Palace come forward. This is Eze now just over the halfway line. That's a clever ball out to the right hand side to Ismail Assar. There's 4 or 5 players in the middle. In it comes, Nketiah slides. Good defending, brave defending back there by Macaulay Southern Hales, sliding in He was caught by Nketiah doing so, but he had to do so, and he's managed to clear the ball away. 10 minutes to half-time. Palace 1, Stockport 0.
Yeah, again, it starts from Gehi that rifles the ball through the third into Eze that gets it out wide. It's a delightful ball. You couldn't ask for a better ball than there, because the players have committed themselves. It's right on the 6-yard box. I think it's there just maybe a bit flat-footed, reacting. I think that maybe the confidence within him at the moment. He's, like I say, you see strikers that always just stay in between the sort of goalposts or in the 18-yard box and don't run the channels. He's happy to do that, harry and drag defenders out with him. That makes a bit of space for others.
Good turn by Ethan Pye, swiveled away from Nketiah, cleared it up towards the halfway line. He was looking for Olafe, but Olafe in an offside position as the ball was played to him. So that's a free kick to Crystal Palace inside the centre circle or just beside it. 36 league places between these two. Crystal Palace 15th in the Premier League against Stockport County, 7th place in League One. Riyad on the halfway line for Palace. Short left-footed pass to Kamara. Eze with the gloves on, left-hand side of the midfield, rolls it back into a more central location for Chris Richards. He's got Gehi available to his right-hand side and he plays it to him. Stockport still working hard on a possession, trying to limit the opportunities, trying to keep Crystal Palace at bay. Oh, hesitation by Riyad, and he nearly gave it away. Olafe was in front of him, he stumbled a little bit, and Olafe tried to react, and they were quite fortunate there, Riyad, that Richards was in behind him, because otherwise Olafe would have had a run through on goal. Palace launch it long down the other end, header won by Noyle. Lands straight at the feet of Ebericha Eze though, just outside the penalty area. Left-hand side as Palace come forward. He veers infield on that right boot. Then he cuts back at himself. Kamada's available. Those two interchange a couple of 1-2s. Back to Eze again. Now he'll play it crossfield. Looking for Munoz, who's arriving. Out comes the goalkeeper. That's a good catch. Correa right to the edge of his box. And he catches that ball ahead of Munoz.
We're just looking at that previous, I say chance, but previous pressure there from Olafe, you know, on Riyad. You just can't take liberties in this competition. You have to be professional, move the ball well. Just because it's a cup tie against lower opposition, if they sense or sniff any kind of danger, they will hunt you down. If they get half a chance, like Olafe's got to get away from his marker, he can get away. He's been a real bright spark for Stockport County, trying to make things happen for his team.
Just looking at the possession stats, I mean, as we would have expected before kick-off, Palace have had 80% of the ball, but they have only found the back of the net once. There is still hope of a cup shock here for Stockport County of League One. Kamara, halfway line for Palace. Back to Chris Richards. Riyad has had to be patient for Premier League opportunities. Picked up an injury early in the campaign, trying to work his way back into the team. Here is Richards over the halfway line to Ismail Assar. We've not seen too much of Assar today. It's only the second time Ismail Assar has ever played in an FA Cup match. He had one appearance in this competition for his old team Watford in the past. Gehi, right hand side of the midfield, gives it to Munoz. Munoz, who loves to play with the socks right down at his ankles. I would love to see how small Munoz's shin pads are, because you have to have shin pads, but his socks, they look like ankle socks. How is he getting a shin pad in there?
Probably the size of a cigarette packet by the looks of it. But looks as though Crystal Palace, they've got a bit.
Hang on, Kamara trying to play it into the penalty area. Noel controls with his upper thigh, and that's deemed not to be an intentional back pass, so Adai is able to pick it up.
I was just going to say there, Crystal Palace look as though they've got a sort of a nice variation of their attacks. They can go wide in terms of using the width of Klein and Munoz, or what they're looking for that sort of interplay in that middle third of when Eze comes short. You've got Nketiah, you've got Kamada there as well, so quick interchange, interplay in that middle sort of strip of the pitch as well. So looks as though they've been working on that this week, and it's becoming fruitful.
Just over 5 minutes to go until half-time at Selhurst Park. I mentioned it was at Anfield yesterday. Liverpool scored, I think it was about half an hour into the game, and they made it 1-0 against Accrington Stanley. Then Liverpool got their second goal right on the cusp of half-time, the 45th minute. That was a killer for Accrington. Had it been 1-0 at the break, a completely different atmosphere, and certainly Stockport won't want to go 2-0 down here. They'd love to get it back to 1-1. Here is Olafe. Did well, good strength to hold it up ahead of the experienced Mark Gehi on the edge of the area. Here comes the ball in. Wotton with the header over the top. That's probably the best chance Wotton arriving, jumping, he's a big target, but he couldn't keep the header down.
Well, they are the chances that they are going to need to at least test the Crystal Palace goalkeeper in Turner. Torre again puts a great ball in on this left-hand side. And know when it goes in, then it's down to Woodson. Can you get half a yard? Can you get across your marker? It's a difficult header to maybe try and score a goal from there, but at least try and test the goalkeeper. It just fizzes over the crossbar. Use the pace of the cross. But again, Stockport County showing their dangerous side.
They're not going to get too many of those chances. They've got to try and make them count. And Kyle Wootton, 8 goals this season. Disappointed that he didn't make Matt Turner work harder there. Here is Chris Richards for Palace inside the centre circle, just coasting over the halfway line. Short ball to the feet of Kamara. Eze gets a touch. Richards again. They work it for Riyadh. This is just inside Stockport County territory. Palace playing from left to right as we look down. Wootton commits another foul. He's got to be careful. We haven't had a yellow card in the game so far, but there's an cumulative effect now of a few fouls in a row from Kyle Wootton. None of them on their own worthy of a yellow card, but the referee might decide to tot them up. Here is Richards over to Gehi on the right hand side into Kamada, and it's very much constant. Well, that was a classic curse of commentary. I was just going to say that there was such a controlled Palace and they gave the ball away, but then it's immediately been won back again. Eddie Nketiah, Jefferson Lerma, 10 yards outside the box, gives it outside of the right boot to Nathaniel Klein on the left hand side. Can he cross it? He's less favoured left boot. It comes back off the first defender, Southern Hales. It's another Crystal Palace corner. Palace still leading here at Sellers Park by 1-0.
Well, it was bright play there from Crystal Palace in terms of losing the ball, but their reaction to win it back was absolutely exemplary there. And then when they got it, they tried to attack the Stockport County goal, but again allowing pressure, trying to get corners, throw-ins, anything they can get in this last few remaining minutes.
Corner, in fact it's a throw-in by the corner flag, which Lerma takes, I should say, tries to get a little flick on it, controlled by Klein outside the penalty area, gives it short to Kamada. They're all still forward here, most of the Palace players, but Klein rolls it back into Munoz in the centre circle. He looks up, doesn't see any long range pass that he fancies. There has been a sense of control about Crystal Palace. They're not trying to blow Stockport County away here. They just want to do a professional job and win this time, get into the 4th round. Richards gives it short to Riyadh once again, and it is a pedestrian pace as Palace hold on to the ball on the halfway line. Got to give credit to Stockport County for making it so. This is Munoz on the right hand side, tries to flick it on for Ismail Assar, and then the ball goes out of play for a throw into Stockport. Left full back position for them.
Can we just go back to that long throw please from Lerma, because that was probably pathetic, shall we say, with the opposition's manager knowing the thing or two about long throws in terms of their challenger there. He's probably seen that and thought, I think it was Lerma that done it, and he sort of rubbed his glove as if to say the grip, or there was a bit of mud, but he must have been sitting there laughing in his chair.
Long throws aren't what they used to be. Dave Challoner knew all about it. Rory Delap in the past, of course. We've just got a bit of a delay here. There's a Crystal Palace player who may need some treatment. Wootton again was the player who collided with Chris Richards, and the referee's having a word with Kyle Wootton. He's throwing his weight around, shall we say. Well,
that's what it's all about, isn't it? The FA Cup, when you come up, a lower league team comes up against the Premier League team, they're not going to be out there dominating possession as we've seen today with Crystal Palace with them stats, but it's about, can you put pressure on, can you get in their face, and just knock them off their perch a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. For a League One team to take on the Premier League side, they're going to have to roll up their sleeves and get stuck in. Here's Ismail Assar, gives it to Munoz on the right hand side, returns it to the edge of the penalty area. Lerma back to Munoz, good clever ball infield to Kamada, more central location now. He doesn't fancy a shot though, gives it to Eze. Eze's got 2 defenders in front of him, trying to pull it onto his left boot, trying to find the space. Great ball flashes across the face of goal, and there was no one to put a touch on it. Munoz sliding in was only a whisker away. Goal kick to Stockport, but that was clever, and as always when Palace do something good, Ebericha Eze is involved.
That's it, it's clever, patient play, and it makes its way over to the left hand side with Eze. He's got about 3 Stockport players around him. He manages to weave his way and try and get to the byline and cross him with his left foot, and Munoz is there just a whisker away at the far post. But again, Ebericha Eze is the man. is going to produce a bit of magic in this cup tie.
Into stoppage time at the end of the first half at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace leading Stockport County by a goal to 0 here on Sports Extra, and we've got 1 additional minute to go until the break. I do hope they've still got those sausage rolls at half-time. I had one before the game. Excellent.
I think our producer George may have had one or two, and I think he's asked for them to put a couple away as well for him at half-time. He's having a little giggle there.
Knows his way around a sausage roll, does George. As free kick is given to Stockport here on the half. The homemade as well. There was a sign that said these are homemade sausage rolls.
They were very nice.
That's the Premier League quality that Stockport County are up against today. Right, free kick to Stockport. Now this would be a narrative changer. This would be a plot twist if Stockport could make this count. Obvious target is Kyle Wootton, who's won a lot in the air today. He's gone forward, he's adjusting his socks, he's ready to challenge for this one. Free kick's going to be taken on the halfway line, and can they propel this forward? Macaulay Southam Hales is going to take it, and it's a clever ball towards the edge of the box. That is clever. He was low and controlled by Olafe. He tries to cross, Klein blocks it. Corner to Stockport. That's not bad. Oh, they're not going to get to take it. So it was a free kick on the halfway line. They played it down the flank. It goes out for a corner. The referee says, Stuart Atwell, that's not the spirit of the FA Cup. When you've a League One team who win, I think their first quarter, maybe their second quarter of the game, and he says there's no time to take it, and that is half-time. That, I don't know, Steve. Probably the letter of the law, but come on.
Well, that's where they thought they would have been getting a bit of joy this afternoon from set pieces or corners, and loaded the box with the players and really tried to have done that, but not allowed there. But listen, they're going in 1-0 down. They're still well in with this cup tie.
I'm just watching Dave Challoner walking past, having a word with the referee, and Stuart Atwell probably advisedly stopped walking towards him to allow a rather pent-up Dave Challoner walk past him. But I don't know. I mean, I think if they'd been repeatedly wasting time, or if they, but they were sprinting over to take that immediately, and as soon as the ball went out, Stuart Atwell blew the whistle for half-time. But there you go.
They work it really well, don't they? Instead of just sort of putting the ball straight in the box, they work it with Olafe making that run down the channel. It didn't come off in terms of him putting the cross in, but again, it's about loading the bases, and they had an opportunity there. What I would say is that tunnel down at Crystal Palace is tight.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's no hiding place for Stuart Atwell.
Not. Right, well, we've reached the break. The goal from Eberechi Eze has Crystal Palace in front. But this cup tie is not over yet. Stockport, as you always are when you're just 1 goal behind, they are very much in with a chance here. We will have second half commentary to come. But for now, Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0.
After 8 minutes, but 8 minutes later, Miley's rising drive brought Newcastle level.
Well, don't forget, we've had 2 absolutely brilliant goals in this game. The Congreve one, I have to say, even though it might not have looked quite as dramatic, it's the way he was so calm and curled the ball from 22 yards out, round the goalkeeper with his left foot. It was a classic. It was an FA Cup classic, and it's really lit this game up. And it does make you think that even though they were under a huge amount of pressure the last 10 or 15 minutes, correctly, as you say, Ian, how many chances have there really been for Newcastle? Not that many, but you just feel that more space will develop as the game goes on. And of course, Newcastle have got 1 or 2 good players to still bring on.
Yes, Guimaraes is one of them. Tonali is another on the bench, as is Anthony Gordon, but no Alexander Isak. But Newcastle United might not require the reinforcements in the second half. Time will tell. Half time, Newcastle United 1, Bromley 1.
Thank you very much both. We'll bring you second half commentary, of course, from St James's Park here at Tamworth at the Lamb Ground. Their moment in the spotlight is, of course, coming to an end after that 3-0 defeat after extra time for Tamworth against Tottenham Hotspur. All of the wires are being taken away. There's a man with a trolley just to my left-hand side, which is full of those sort of fluffy boom microphones. So the national media are about to leave Tamworth. We're not actually. We're going to be here right the way through until 6 o'clock. Lots going on in the FA Cup right now, of course. Crystal Palace against Stockport. George Cummins.
Yep, half-time at Selhurst Park, Steve. Palace leading League One, Stockport by a goal to 0. 4th minute, Eberechi Eze played in by Kamada, and he rolled it past the die into the Stockport net. Stockport have had a couple of chances. Captain Wotton should have made it 1-1 when Isaac Khalife crossed to him, but he shot wide from 6 yards. Palace had 80% possession. Eze's been the best player on the pitch. It's Palace 1, Stockport 0, but Stockport still in it.
Tamworth gave it their best shot for an upset. Bromley might still give us a big upset. What about Bristol Rovers? Chris Coles.
They will not be giving us an upset, I don't think, Steve. There's a chasm in quality between themselves and Ipswich. Ipswich leading 3-0, cruising through this cup tie. Calvin Phillips' first goal in 18 months. Caress finish into the corner from the edge of the box. Jack Clark sliding in a second at the back post. And Jack Taylor with all the time in the world to make it 3. Although more than a hint of offside, which will aggrieve Bristol Rovers. They've barely vacated their own half, only forcing Ari Muric into a save when the goalkeeper himself gave the ball away to Rule Satiriou, who fired it straight back at Muric. All very comfortable for Ipswich. They lead League One Bristol Rovers 3-0.
The sun is going down here now at Tamworth, and it's a beautiful view at the Lamb Ground. Now, if I needed anybody to tell me where to go next, all I would need to do is look at the one remaining big red board in front of me, the advertising hoardings that they've flown in for this game, because it just says in big letters, Emirates. Chris Wise.
Perfect, but amongst the many Arsenal-Manchester United FA Cup classics that we've had down the years, and we've had so many of them, I wouldn't say this is too high on that list. At the break, it's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. The half-time whistle has just gone. To give you a flavour of the first half, Arsenal haven't had a shot on target. Manchester United have had a couple, but they've been half chances. Kobbie Mainoo from the edge of the box, quick feet, low shot held by David Raya down to his left-hand side. Another from Garnacho, a shot from an angle which was pretty routine really for Raya at his near post. Arsenal, Andy Reid, have had more of the ball, but ultimately we are waiting for this FA Cup game to truly come alive.
Yeah, I think we are. It hasn't been an entertaining game in terms of kind of goal attempts and kind of penalty box scrambles, but it's been quite interesting tactically. I think Man United their back five have been pretty solid. Then they've had Mainoo and Agate just in front of them, so they've had plenty of bodies in and around the edge of the box, which has stifled Arsenal. Arsenal have struggled to break that down. Now, the trade-off for that is Man United haven't been able to get any pressure on the ball higher up the pitch, and they haven't been able to assert any dominance in terms of possession. So at the moment, I would say tactically both teams are cancelling each other out. So hopefully in the second half the game opens up. I think it's definitely a game that needs a goal. I think if we can get a goal from either team, I think we see a bit more space opening up, and we probably see a few more chances arriving.
The other blow, Steve, for Arsenal is that Gabriel Jesus has gone off injured. Is still not entirely sure what happened to him. He was tracking back to stop Bruno Fernandes from shooting. He ended up hurting himself. I don't know if he fell awkwardly, but he left the pitch on a stretcher. He had his shirt pulled up over his head as he did so. He looked in a lot of discomfort, and obviously injuries and Arsenal have gone hand in hand this season, and I just wonder how serious that one might be for Gabriel Jesus. Raheem Sterling came on for him, and it is at half-time Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0.
Thanks both, and remember you can also watch that one on BBC One. Two games in the Scottish Premiership today have both reached half-time. Rangers St Johnstone, Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, Rangers looking to reduce the arrears on Celtic. They're in a comfortable position to start doing that. They're 3 goals to the good at half-time, 3 goals in 9 minutes. Igaman Cherny and Diomande giving Rangers a commanding lead. St Johnstone have offered nothing. Rangers 3, St Johnstone 0.
And half-time at Pittodrie, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0. Fascinating tussle this between two of Scotland's biggest clubs despite the lack of goals so far. The Dons without a win in their last 10 games. Hearts in 11th, looking to get their third victory on the bounce. Aberdeen have dominated, 2 clear chances. Craig Gordon saved one from Christers Tobers. Topi Keskinen rolled the other one wide of the post. Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0.
Other scores in the Women's FA Cup 4th round: Fulham 0, London City Lionesses 5. These are all full times. Exeter 1, Sunderland 7, Manchester City 3, Ipswich 0, Newcastle 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Those are the full time scores in the Women's FA Cup 4th round. Don't forget, one of the shocks of the day, Hull City of the Championship beaten on penalties by Doncaster Rovers. We will try and squeeze in some reaction to that, and we will definitely hear from Tom Tonks together with his family. The Tamworth player, they gave everything today and just came up short against Tottenham Hotspur. He and they on the way after the news with John Barnes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The US President-elect Donald Trump has accused politicians in California of incompetence over their handling of the wildfires in Los Angeles. In a post on social media, the Republican asked why they couldn't just put out the fires. 16 people are known to have died over the past 5 days. Tributes have been paid to a policewoman who died after being hit by a lorry while helping at the scene of another crash. North Yorkshire Police Constable Rosie Pryor was standing on the verge of the A19 when she and 2 others were hit. One of them has died, the other is in hospital. A man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a woman who's believed to be a nurse was stabbed at Royal Oldham Hospital this morning. The woman, who's in her 50s, is in hospital. Her injuries are believed to be life-changing. The man, who's 37, remains in police custody. And the wanted singer Max George has revealed that he wrote his will from a hospital bed before having surgery for a heart condition. The 36-year-old told the Sun newspaper he thought he was going to die last month when he had a pacemaker fitted to keep his heart beating regularly.
Gladiator, ready!
Bigger.
Wow, what an entrance!
Better.
Some new events!
And tougher than ever.
Brutal! Is there anything I can't do?
That was a hard fall.
It hits like an absolute tank.
Not a game for the faint-hearted.
You can't do that!
So hard. We are back.
Gladiators Series 2. Back tougher. Starts next Saturday. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport.
The FA Cup with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
And we'll hear from one of Tamworth's gladiators after we've checked in at the UK Snooker Championship. Jamie Broughton.
And John Higgins is playing Neil Robertson this afternoon. It was Robertson who took the opening frame with a break of 48. Since then, it's Higgins who's played the better snooker and dominated his proceedings. He's knocked in 6 breaks over 50. He's now 5-1 up, so he needs one more frame to book his place in the quarter-finals.
Half-time at Chelsea in the Women's FA Cup. Emily Herbert.
And Chelsea lead by 2-0. Myra Ramirez leaping highest to head it home from a deflected Lauren James cross. 5 minutes later, Guro Wrighton gave the Blues the second from the penalty spot, and they're just cruising now, dominating play. Charlton doing well to keep it at just the 2-0. Half-time, Chelsea 2, Charlton 0.
And such has been the interest in the Tamworth players and manager here that actually the last of them has only just left the pitch close to an hour after the game finished. They put in an absolutely Herculean effort, took Tottenham to extra time, could have won it in the last minute, in the end lost 3-0. So much talk before the game about Tom Tonks and his long throw. I've been speaking to him together with his family.
So proud of him. You can hear the fans, they're so happy. They played so well.
Tom, you gave it an incredible go there. What an achievement, what an effort, what a performance.
Yeah, it was a great first 90 minutes. We've just come up a little bit short to the end. You know, there's a few tired legs out there and they've just showed the quality towards the end. But, you know, all the lads can be proud of themselves. They've gave it a good goal, to be fair.
The effort that was put in over the course of 120 minutes. I mean, where did you guys find the energy from? I know when you came off, you were down, you could barely move.
Yeah, I was cramping up a little bit, but honestly, I get asked so many questions about what's the dressing room like, but honestly, the lads in there are quality, and we'd actually run through brick walls. I know it's an old saying in football, but the quality in the dressing room's good, and the camaraderie is even better.
Tell us about the Tonks family. I mean, they've had to put up with you becoming a local and national celebrity lately, haven't they?
Yeah, I've not been in the house for many hours this week, but I love it when they come, and I appreciate every one of them.
Is this Dad?
It is, mate. Yeah.
Come on, tell us how you feel about your son and his effort.
It's just immensely proud to be on a football pitch with the likes of Tottenham Hotspur. It's just amazing. It's amazing to see. He's waited a long time for it, but it's happened, and immensely proud, mate. And to take him to extra time is just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Waited a long time is right, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm in the twilight of my career, but hopefully I get a few more nights like this. But the FA Cup run's been special to me and the club, to be fair. So, but we've got to concentrate on the league now, and we've got a tough job there.
Are you going to be up at 4 a.m. going to the gym?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. Got to do a little bit of recovery because, like you say, I'm getting old now, so I have to try and protect the body a little bit.
Tom, a great effort today. I just want to say your brother described himself as the better-looking Tonks brother. Care to comment?
I'm the better footballer. That's all that matters to me.
Tamworth's Tom Tonks and his family. So Tamworth weren't quite able to do it. We have had an upset though. Hull City of the Championship beaten on penalties by League 2 Doncaster Rovers. So Grant McCann, the Doncaster head coach, claiming a scalp over his former club. Here he is with Betty Glover.
Grant, you got the job done. It had to go to penalties, but you got it over the line and you're into the next round. How do you feel?
Yeah, really pleased. Listen, it was going to be always for us to be strong defensively today. And I think we limited to shots from the edge of the box. The one moment where we switch off, they score. But I'm really pleased with my team today, the effort that they put in all the way through to extra time. And then my goalkeeper's made a very good save to win. But look, we knew we were coming against a really good team, a whole team that's on the up. I can sense that with Ruben. So we had to be strong defensively today. We scored a really good goal on the break from Luke Molyneux, and I couldn't be more pleased.
Grant McCann. The last game of the day in the FA Cup will be at St Mary's. Premier League's bottom side Southampton hosting Swansea City of the Championship. Paul Scott.
Well, when the draw was made, this fixture was set to pit Russell Martin against his former club, but he's since been sacked by Saints, replaced by Croatian Ivan Juric, who's lost all 3 matches in charge. In fact, the South Coast club haven't won since early November and suffered a humiliating 5-0 defeat here against Brentford last weekend. Just the 2 changes to that starting 11. As for Swansea, the playoffs are a possibility, relegation unlikely, so this afternoon is a bit of a free hit against a Saints side low in confidence.
Let's take you back to the rugby, shall we? Owain Gwyneth.
Yeah, half-time here, Bristol 14, Benetton 17. What is a must-win game for the Bears? A win could be enough to send Benetton through to the last 16. 5 tries in all, Williams and Merriman for Bristol, Rhino Smith and Michael Lamoureux for Benetton. And a third came with the last play of the game, Matt Gallagher dotting down the left-hand corner to the cries of a forward pass by the home crowd. Bristol 14, Benetton 17.
Thank you very much. So we are going to be here at Tamworth through till 6 o'clock. So what we'll do is once we're done at St James's Park, we are going to bring you all of the reaction to the day. The big story was almost here. We'll hear from Andy Peakes, the Tamworth manager. I've just been speaking to Ange Postecoglou as well, so you'll be able to hear that one at full time at St James's Park. Archie Gray of Leeds.
And welcome back here to Selhurst Park, where both teams are back out on the field ahead of the second half of this FA Cup third round tie. For now it is Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. No changes in personnel over the break. Stockport of League One will play from right to left as we look down in this second half. The goal scored by Eberechi Eze. It came very early in the match, inside the opening 4 minutes. Stockport have done themselves proud. Apart from that, they might even have grabbed an equaliser. A couple of decent chances in that first half, and the big question is, can Dave Challoner's team create those opportunities again? And if they can they take them here? But it's a cup tie that is still very much got a pulse, Steve Sidwell.
Of course it is. I think that would have been Dave Challoner's team talk at half-time. Make sure we stay in this cup tie at least for the first 15 minutes of this second half. They had a poor start in the first half with Crystal Palace scoring the opening 4 minutes, was it? So they've got to do better than that, and then they stay in this cup tie, and then when they can get bodies forward and set pieces and crosses, be brave, but stay, as I say, stay compact, stay tight, be hard to beat, be hard to break down. Don't give Crystal Palace anything to sort of be positive at or break at, and just stay in the game.
Crystal Palace have been pressing a lot more in recent matches, and it has led to an improvement in their results over the last 6 weeks or so. Finals of the FA Cup in 1990 and 2016. As things stand, they're going through to round 4, but there's still a long way to go. And pressure being applied on Chadi Riyad there. The back pass to Turner was short, and he had Olafe sprinting in on him. Turner got there just in time to return it. Where did it come back to Riyad? But that's not the most sturdy start to the second half you've ever seen for Crystal Palace.
No, it's not, and it's got the Stockport County fans away from us there, loud cheering. That's the scraps that they're going to be prepared to feed off today. Any kind of mistakes that Crystal Palace are prepared to give them, they will try and pounce on them.
Just a reminder of how the teams line up. Matt Turner in goal for Crystal Palace. The Stockport get a free kick here inside the Palace half. Richards, Riyad, Gehi the back three. Munoz and Klein are the wing backs. Kamada and Lerma in the middle of the midfield. And then it's Sarr and Eze in support of Nketiah in attack. No Jean-Philippe Mateta today for Palace. the Stockport County team. Corey Adai in goal, Callum Connolly, Macaulay Southern Hales and Ethan Pye are the back three. Kyle Noyle and Ibu Toure are the wing backs. Odin Bailey alongside Callum Camps in the middle of the midfield. And then there's Isaac Olafe and Will Collar in support of the centre forward Kyle Wootton. Stockport, who thought they were going to get a corner just before half-time. Stuart Atwell didn't allow them time to take it. This is their first set piece since then. Southern Hills to take it. Right-footed, too close to the goalkeeper, spilled by Matt Turner, but cleared away by Ismail Assar. It fell comfortably for him, and Palace relieved it didn't fall to a Stockport County player.
Well, very fortunate. Matt coming out there, claimed the ball. Crystal Palace defender in front of him, just dropped there to him, but again, it'll be something that the Stockport County players can feed on.
Today is Oliver Glasner's first FA Cup game in charge. He joined Palace last season after they were already eliminated from this competition. Palace, who finished in the top half of the Premier League last season, hoping that they can have a strong second half of this campaign too. Riyad chests it down midway inside his own half, flicks it onto Kamada, sends it over his shoulder into the Stockport County half. Good strong defending back there though by Callum Connolly. And this is Toure at the left hand side. Kamada with him for company. Pye to Camps. Oh, Camps has lost out to Jefferson Lerma here. Connolly had to slide in and did well. That was a nervous moment for Stockport County just outside their own penalty area. That's the pressure, that's the quality Palace have. Any dither, any delay at all, Palace will bounce.
Yeah, Camps didn't realise there. Enough time on the ball. Crystal Palace will threaten.
They come on the attack down the right hand side. Ball goes out by the corner flag, but it goes out the throw inside of it. Munoz takes it from about 15 yards away from the ball, went out, but the referee's happy with it. Palace have possession back to the halfway line, back to Chris Richards. BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra at Selhurst Park. Palace 1, Stockport 0. Chris Richards inside the centre circle. Rolls it to the right hand side to the captain Mark Gehi. Now to Munoz. Infield to Sarn. He's well tackled by Odin Bailey. Been impressed with Bailey, who's now retreating back towards his own penalty area, and he's going to lose out to Munoz. Good play from brilliant from Bailey too. Hang on a minute. So it came back off the corner flag. It hit Bailey, but the assistant down there, Konstantin Hatzidakis, who's obviously got a closer view than us, but he thinks it's gone out for a corner to Palace.
Yeah, I think it just went out. Munoz done really well there in terms of backheeling it onto Bailey. He tried to recover it. I think it just crept over the line to save it from a corner. But again, a corner to Crystal Palace. Can they capitalise?
Palace who could do with the comfort of a second goal here. Scorer of their strike of the first half, Ebericha Eze, is the man to take this corner. Right hand side of the pitch as Palace come forward, floats it in, not enough height, headed away by Camps, only as far as Sarr. He drills it back in. Lerma tries a shot, the flag goes up. 3 Palace players in offside positions as that came back in again, and that is a free kick to Stockport County inside the box.
That's a really poor corner from Eze. So frustrated. How many times? I mean, you see more than enough games throughout the season, kind of the times that the corners are taken that always just don't get past the first man. I tried that real whippy one that just to get it on a sixpence, but so frustrating.
Here come Palace again. Looks like Ismail Assar is offside, and the flag does raise. He gave a nervous glance. He knew he was off, and that is good defending by Stockport, how they held their line firm and didn't allow anyone to drop back to play Ismail Assar onside. A reminder, if you weren't with us in the first half, no video assistant referee, so those flags go up quickly. It's not like the Premier League where the flag stays down until the shot is taken. There's no second view at it, and Konstantin Hatzidakis raised his flag there for the free kick to Stockport County.
I think it was the right call. Seeing the replay there, Assar just going too early, shows Stockport that if they're going to play a high line, they will be exposed.
Here is Kyle Wootton back into the midfield to Callum Camps. Now Ibu Toure has to retreat into his own half because Munoz was on rushing, and Sarr has done really well to get it away from Pye, and across came Toure from left back into the centre to make an important challenge as Stockport got it back briefly, but then Ethan Pye has given it away, and Palace come forward with Munoz on the right hand side. That's a foul by Toure. Free kick to Crystal Palace, 15 yards inside the box.
That's clever play there from Munoz because he knows what he's doing there. He's just taken the ball, I think it's past Toure, but he leaves his leg there for the connection. You can see how he's going to do it. It was always going to be a foul, but clever game management play. from Munoz there. It's a dangerous free kick now for Eze to put a delightful ball in.
Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. Doncaster beating Hull earlier on today on penalties in round 3. Tottenham are through to the 4th round. They won 3-0 away at Tamworth, but they were taken to extra time. It is still 0-0 between Arsenal and Manchester United. They're into the second half there. Ipswich are 3-0 in front of Bristol Rovers. Newcastle, who went 1-0 down at home to Bromley, now lead 2-1. Here's the free kick played by Eze. Header comes in from Richards, but it's across the face of goal and out for a goal kick to Stockport. That was close.
Similar to the first half, wasn't it, where the ball goes into the box, Richard gets first contact. Clever play from Nketiah there, because he was in an offside position at the first, but he knows that he's going to be on the second ball that comes off of Richard. Just goes past him and evaded him from a high boot there from Eddie Nketiah.
Still 1-0 to the Premier League team against the side from the 3rd tier. Here is Eddie Nketiah, tries to get a shot away from the edge of the area, but it goes wide of the target. Good defending from Ethan Pye, who was all over Nketiah there. He couldn't shrug off the defender, and that close attention led to the shot going wide of the target.
They've done that numerous times up until now, Crystal Palace, in terms of Kamada there, that advanced midfield player. As soon as it comes into him, he's just literally knocking the ball round the corner into the front man, whether it's Eze or Nketiah, and then it's down to them. Can they get the strike off or hold the ball and bring players back in?
Toure beaten by the bounce of the ball there. Munoz tries to cross. Great work from Toure to get back and make the block of the attempted cross. It goes out for a Palace throw in, and Munoz takes it quickly back to Mark Gahey. He plays it in field to Kamada. Heavy touch from Kamada. There was a crunching tackle came in from, that was Will Collar, who's hurt himself in the process of how he lunged in. It felt at the time dangerous, like he was stamping down with 2 feet as he jumped into the tackle there. Stuart Atwell didn't give a free kick for it, but he's hurt himself in the process, Will Collar, and he needs treatment here.
Well, if you've ever heard of the term touch tackle, that's what you've just seen it there, and the ball got away from Kamada. He was fully committed. He's come off better, but Collar looks as though he's caught one on the outside of the shin there. He went down, he didn't move at all, and when players don't move, certainly from my experiences, you know it's a bad one.
So treatment being received by Will Collar, player who turns 28 in February. He's been with Stockport for 4 years now, has scored quite a few FA Cup goals for the club actually over those 4 years. Came through the youth system at Brighton in the past, and Will Collar is the concern for the visitors here. They wouldn't want to lose him, and the physio trying to get him back in shape and trying to see if he can carry on here. So while we've got the break in play, a reminder of what's coming up next week. We've got the Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman, Chris Sutton, Theo Walcott and Rory Smith tomorrow night on 5 Live. On Tuesday it is Premier League coverage, Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, our commentary on Tuesday. On Wednesday we'll bring you the North London derby. It's from the Emirates, Arsenal against Tottenham. There's also a match of the day on BBC One on Wednesday night, and on Thursday more live Premier League football on 5 Live. We'll be at Old Trafford for Manchester United against Southampton. Collins back up at his feet, that's good to see. He will have to leave the field of play to come back on again, but he breaks into a jog, so it's good to see that he is all right there. But he would have given himself the damage had he been hurt, because it was the way he lunged into the tackle that led to the problem there. Play resumes with an uncontested drop ball. Stockport County temporarily down to 10 men. This is Selhurst Park, BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Sarr on the right hand side of the midfield, wearing the lime green boots, gives it infield to Mark Gahey. Jefferson Lerma back to Chris Richards on his left shoulder. Chadi Riyad. Palace dominating the possession as they have done throughout this game. Munoz has found himself a bit of space on the right hand side. Toure comes across to try and close him down. Munoz plays it first time infield to Ismaila Sarr. Here is Riyad again. He's midway inside Stockport territory. They've got all their players back behind the ball here, cramped inside their own final third. They're sort of between that midway point of the half and the edge of the penalty area. Stockport, two very close lines. There's no gap at all between the midfield and the defence. Palace have it again with Kamada, always a neat and tidy player. He gets it back again from Riyad, has a look up. There's a run being made by Ismaila Sarr. Fizz is behind him, falls nicely from Munoz. Here's a ball into the centre that was dangerous, and sliding to head it out and away. And out for a corner was Connolly. Callum Connolly puts it out for a Crystal Palace corner. Palace still lead 1-0.
Superb from Crystal Palace there, really patient in that passage of play. I'm not sure how many passes, but there was a lot, whether they were short or long, really trying to move. This Stockport County team ends up being a big switch out this on this right hand side, and Munez there trying to put a dangerous ball in.
Eze to take the corner. He'll want to improve on the last one he had from this side. Short run up from Ebericha Eze. No height in it again. This falls for Kamada on the edge of the box. He doesn't fancy the shot. Passes it to Sarr. Sarr, who's on the right wing. Back into the centre again. Nathaniel Klein. All his outfield teammates ahead of him. Gives it short to Kamada. Again, he doesn't fancy clipping it into the box here. Palace rather hold on to possession than risk giving it away with a careless ball. Lerma back to Riyadh. This is all near the halfway line now. Stockport afraid to creep out too far because they don't want to get caught on the counter. Still just one goal between these teams and Sports Extra in the FA Cup.
No, that's good management play from Crystal Palace. There's no point in them just clipping the ball in. Stockport County had 7 players, like it was like a rugby line on their 18-yard box. So it's patient play, patient build up from Crystal Palace, trying to draw the Stockport County players up, trying to create space to play around them.
It's a reminder of the state of play elsewhere. In the games that are underway, Manchester United have taken the lead at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1. Bruno Fernandes has scored in the early stages of the second half there. Ipswich still 3-0 in front against Bristol Rovers. Newcastle 2-1 up at home against Bromley. Bromley, who had scored first in the game, but Lewis Miley and now an Anthony Gordon penalty have Newcastle in front, and as things stand, heading for the 4th round. One later kick-off today at 4:30. Southampton will host Swansea. That is the last of today's FA Cup 3rd round games. Here at Selhurst Park, Palace still 1-0 in front. They could certainly do with a second goal to just ease any concerns the Palace fans would have of a twist of events. Here is Gay, just on the edge of his own penalty area, right footed clearance towards the halfway line, a little bit careless, giving it away to Toure here, kept in play by Pye, and then as Bailey tried to skip down the touchline, too many opponents ahead of him and he wasn't able to take the ball with him. Lerma for Palace, over to the far side to Nathaniel Klein. There will come a point when Stockport will have to throw caution to the wind and become more attacking and maybe reduce it to a back four, but we haven't reached that stage yet. Munoz tries to cross to the right and he's been caught. It's going to be a free kick. Munoz, who I don't think it was a great cross anyway, but he's followed through, caught the defender Toure. Toure sort of said, well, hang on, he kicked me there. It's a yellow card. Well, this was right in front of Hatzidakis, the official down there. Free kick to Crystal Palace. First yellow card of the game for Ivo Toure.
It was as though Nunes was kind of caught in two minds, wasn't it? The way it was bouncing up, he was going to sort of try and run onto it and hit it on a sort of a sidewinder into the box, and then it was like, could he do that and just touch it past Toure? Caught in two minds there. Ended up being fortunate enough to get the free kick, but again, a different position for Crystal Palace to put hopefully a dangerous ball in. They've got enough bodies in the box. Is it now about being brave enough to get past your marker, just get half a yard, be strong? Can you get good connection first contact, second contact?
Palace 1, Stockport 0, free kick to Crystal Palace. This is like a corner on the right hand side. Kamada takes it, floats it in dangerously, header straight at the goalkeeper from Jefferson Lerma. Everything was right about that, but it needed to be either side of the keeper.
Yeah, good ball from Kamada, just floats it on, literally onto the penalty spot, and Jefferson Lerma there, he does a deep run, so he's coming onto the ball. Fortunate enough for Stockport County, header straight at Adai.
Yeah, he was really able to add propulsion there to the header, was Jefferson Lerma, so it had all the power it needed, but it was straight at the goalkeeper. And Stockport are still within one goal of Premier League Crystal Palace here in the FA Cup 3rd round. We've got to have the first substitution of the day. It's going to be a Stockport County change. They're going to bring on an experienced player who's operated in the Premier League in the past, Oliver Norwood, the former Northern Ireland international who played in the Premier League with Sheffield United in recent years. He's going to replace Bailey here, so the experience of Norwood, bit of know-how into the Stockport County midfield.
Exactly, a former teammate of mine, Oliver Norwood at Brighton, a real technician of the football, come through the academy of Manchester United. So you can imagine when he's on the ball, he's got, and I can honestly vouch for this, he's got every type of pass, he's got the vision, so he'll try and produce something from deep, that sort of quarterback role.
So he's got half an hour to impress here. Oliver Norwood on into the midfield for Stockport County, still just one goal behind Premier League Crystal Palace, as Olafe takes a tumble inside the penalty area, but there's no foul there. And to be fair to him, he didn't make a song and dance about it. Nathaniel Klein put under pressure by Macaulay. Southern Hills just puts the ball out for a throw-in to Stockport County, level with the edge of the penalty area as they attack down the right-hand side. Takes the throw-in into the box. Lerma with a controlled touch. Klein stretching a little bit as he clears. That goes back out of play. It's another throw to Stockport. They remain on the attack.
That's it. Be on the attack. Just keep repeating. Threat into the box. Regains. Get the ball wide. Try and get a bit of pressure into this Crystal Palace back line and just ruffle a few feathers.
Throw-in's got to be taken by Noyle. Takes it short, receives back again. Eze tries to tackle him, but Noel's able to flick away from him. He's right in, trapped by the corner flag. Right hand side as Stockport come forward and he can't keep it in play. It goes out for a throw into Palace. Good work by Eze there to deny options to Kyle Noyle. Noyle, who started at West Ham, he made one senior appearance for them in the past. Palace are going to make their first change of the day here as well. Ismail Assar's work is done. Justin Devaney, a Northern Irishman who's played regularly off the bench in the Premier League this campaign, will come on, number 55 on his back. First taste of the FA Cup for the 21-year-old Justin Devaney.
I'm sure Arsenal will want the substitutes that come on to try and make an impact, bring something different to the game. It feels as though the fans here who generate so much noise and really do get behind their team, they just feel they just need something to feed off.
This is Gehi at the back for Crystal Palace, still leading by a goal to nil. We are in the 64th minute now. Mistake. Olafai, he's in! Oh, was it saved by Turner? What a save if it was! He's about 7 yards out. He did everything right. Olafai's shot, hoping he was going into the bottom corner, but Turner pushes it out for a corner. That is by far the closest Stockport have been to an equaliser.
Oh, and again, it's Gay who's made a few sloppy passes in the first half. They're the chances, though, that they have to take. Olafai there, he hits the target. He has to find the bottom corner, though.
Matt Turner, who is not first choice for Crystal Palace, he's still first choice for the United States these days. That's the biggest save he's had to make today. I thought they were going to score there. Olafai, who did everything right, his body shape, everything for the shot. Wonderful reaction from point-blank range from Matt Turner to push it out for the corner. Still Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. Throw into Stockport on the left-hand side. Ibu Toure to take, wiping the ball on the inside of his shirt, trying to get as much grip as he can here. And his teammates are deep inside the penalty area, so they're expecting this to come in long. Here it comes, Toure arching his back, bending everything, trying to send it towards Woodton on the byline, but the ball disappointingly bounces straight out for a goal kick.
That's where Crystal Palace cannot disrespect their opposition. You know, would Gay have played that ball in a Premier League game against the likes of an Arsenal, you know, a Liverpool? I don't think so. I don't think he can get away with it here, but Olafai there, he was really wide of the Crystal Palace goal. You know, he done everything there. The strike low, hard, just couldn't find it wrapping into that bottom corner. But they just need to try and just sustain some attack and really put a bit of pressure on Crystal Palace, because it feels as though they've started the brighter team, really.
It's a big step up in class this for Stockport, but they are doing themselves proud. If it wasn't for that early well-taken goal by Eberiche Eze, there's every possibility Stockport would have kept this level, maybe might even have been ahead themselves on another day. They have had, over the course of the game, Steve, they've had better chances than Palace.
They have had some good chances. I'd say some of them have been half chances. Wootton had a great one. I think they're probably their first one behind Gehi, where he probably didn't see the ball coming to him. He probably may have thought that Gehi would have knocked the ball out for a corner, but it happened to fall to Wootton. But they have had chances, and you feel as though a clear-cut chance is on its way.
Once this game is over, we've still got 25 minutes plus the stoppages to go, but once it is, we'll bring you Rugby Union Champions Cup, Bath against Clermont Auvergne. Bath are on top of the Premiership, looking for their first Champions Cup win of the season. And then later on at 9 o'clock here on Sports Extra, it's NFL Wildcard. The Wildcard round with Green Bay Packers at Philadelphia Eagles. You can hear the commentary of that here on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra at 9 p.m. tonight. Eberiche Eze has possession for Crystal Palace here at Sellers Park. They're playing from left to right as we look down. Palace in the traditional blue and red vertical stripes. Stockport in the change kit. They normally wear blue, but they've got a light shade of pink from head to toe today. Nathaniel Klein rolls a short pass to Chadi Riyad back into his own half. Chris Richards onto Mark Gehi. Stockport not applying pressure, allowing Palace to come. He floats it into the penalty area, and Stockport are organised back there as it bounces into the arms of Adai, the goalkeeper.
Well, it's got all the ingredients now, hopefully for the last, what we say now, it's not 25 minutes to be a real cup tie. Stockport are going to create something it needs to be now to get back in the game, you feel.
This is Lerma rolling it back to Nathaniel Klein, midway inside Crystal Palace territory. Not the best pass you've ever seen Gehi into slide, and he's given it away. This is Kyle Wootton inside Crystal Palace territory. Palace with all their players back though. Toure has it on the left hand side, launches towards the penalty area. Olafe's got a jump, wins the header. Turner had come off his goal line, but it's not an accurate goal bound attempt, and it's cleared away by Gehi, and that will bounce out for a throw in, and Stockport remain on the attack down the left hand side. Well, they're not fading the League One side. If anything, they're growing in stature as this game continues.
Yep, they certainly are. It feels as though they've just got Crystal Palace on the ropes at the moment. It's not the prettiest of football from Stockport. It's very direct, but that's what it needs to take in this FA Cup tie to get them back in the game.
You need the right tool for the job. They've given away possession here. Kyle Noyle has committed a foul just inside Crystal Palace territory. That is a free kick to the Premier League team. Reminder of what's happening elsewhere at the moment. Newcastle still leading Bromley by 3-1. There was a big FA Cup upset on the cards there in the early stages when Bromley, who were worlds away from Newcastle in the pyramid, took the lead in that match, but William Osula has scored for Newcastle to make it 3-1 there. There's 75 league places between those clubs. Elsewhere, high-profile match at the Emirates. Manchester United still 1-0 in front against Arsenal, but they are down to 10 men. Diogo Dalot has been sent off with half an hour to play there. So Arsenal with the extra man advantage. Oh, and they've just made it 1-1 if they will confirm this, but it looks like Gabriel, the defender, has scored. Having not seen the pictures, I will bet you a large amount that was a header from a corner if it's Gabriel. Here come Palace on the attack, running into the penalty area, but Nketiah can't pick a pass, and Stockport County able to clear away.
You just feel as though in this game, when Crystal Palace have been at their best, is when they've got the ball on the floor, they've moved it with purpose, with pace, with aggression, and they've really moved this Stockport County back line as such, that back five, to create the openings. And sometimes when they just slow the game down and they dither on the ball, it just gives Stockport County a base to sort of get back and defend.
Riyad for Palace. Finds Nketiah midway inside the Stockport County half. He sets off with a dribble. He's gone past 3 players already. Tries to get into the penalty area. Noyle greets him, so now Klein takes it on. Sends in a cross, flicked on by Munoz. He knew Defeni was behind him. Too many defenders in the way though. Stockport haven't been able to fully clear. Wootton gets a touch that is lashed forward by Will Collar, and this is one for Olafe to chase after. He's the only Stockport County player up there. He wants a free kick on the edge of the box. Stuart Atwell, who was miles behind that, trying to keep up with play, waves his hands to say no foul. He thinks Olafe was trying to win a penalty there at Palace. You can hear the boos from the Sellers Park crowd for Isaac Olafe there.
No, nothing in that. Astute defending there from Gehi. He knows exactly what he's trying to do in terms of Olafe being in front of him. They're running back at pace. Gehi there just defending with his arm out, not getting too tight. He doesn't want to be rolled by Olafe, and he knows that if he is too tight and Olafe does go down, there is a chance a free kick would be given or a penalty.
Still just the 1 goal between them. We're into the last 20 minutes now. Nathaniel Klein gives it back to Riyad on the halfway line. Palace have done enough today to be in front, but can they offer a little bit more now? Can the Premier League fitness shine through in the closing stages? Can they assert their home advantage? Here's the ball into the penalty area. Nketiah tries to flick it on, but he can't get it on target. He's appealing it came off a defender, and the assistant Hatzidakis agrees with that. Corner to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, and Eddie Nketiah there does really well, because the ball that's swung in, it's kind of floated. There's not much pace with it, so Eddie has to generate that sort of power himself, and he gets underneath the ball to flick on. Wins himself another corner. Not really been threatening, have they, from set pieces?
They've had a lot of them, yeah, but the quality of the delivery hasn't been of the highest order today. Let's see if Eberechiesa can do better here. Corner to Crystal Palace. Here it comes from the far side of the pitch. An in-swinger, goalkeeper comes and gathers it comfortably. Corey Adai gathering the ball in well. 27-year-old Jamaican goalkeeper. He's big and tall as well, isn't he? As he just bowls it out low to Ethan Pye. Pye's clearance up towards the halfway line, taken on the chest by another tall player, Kyle Wootton. This is Toure on the left-hand side. That's not a good pass. Giving it away to Lerma. Devaney will take it on. There might have been a free kick for the foul on Lerma, but referee says play on. Stockport regained possession. Toure plays it down the left channel. There's no one chasing after that. Crystal Palace will regain possession. They still lead 1-0.
No, but when that ball did go into Wootton earlier on, he sort of drew 3 Crystal Palace players towards him, as they have done throughout this game. When he knocked it back to Ollie Norwood, that's the difference he will bring. He fizzed the ball straight out wide, one touch. That sort of real intensity, quick play that obviously when you go up the pyramid, up the levels, you'll see.
6:06 coming at 6 o'clock with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton over on BBC Radio 5 Live. Much to discuss over the course of this FA Cup third round weekend. A weekend where most of the lower league against Premier League ties were held at the ground of the Premier League club, just like this match here at Sellers Park. And interesting that the one where the lower league team hosting a Premier League side, the Tamworth Tottenham game, that's the one that went into extra time. Tottenham won it eventually inside 120 minutes, but Tamworth were level with them through 90. That always is one of the key elements when you're looking for an FA Cup shock, if the Premier League side can be taken out of their comfort zone and sent down the pyramid. Here's a long ball by Ollie Norwood. This is what he's been brought on to do. Olafe tried to nip in. There was hesitation between Gehi and Turner. They both thought the other were going to get that, and Olafe tried to nip in, and the ball goes out for a corner, and Gehi's hurt himself.
Well, we said about Ollie Norwood dropping deep in that quarterback role. That's what he does. He slings a great right to left diagonal ball. Just trying to see now on the replay, it's as though Olafe gets there first. It's just a coming together. It's as though they get there exactly at the same time. It goes out for a corner, but Olafe there, it seems to have come out worse in terms of whether it's cramp or he's walking a bit gingerly.
Yes, he's back up at his feet. He certainly won't want to go off here. Isaac Olafe gets into position ahead of the Stockport County corner. Can they make it count? Oliver Norwood swings it in. Delivery to the back post was good. Chris Richards, tall Crystal Palace defender, was able to head it away. And now Nketiah tries to break up to the halfway line. Good pace by Toure to keep up with him, to make sure that Nketiah wouldn't get to steal into the opposition half. Palace hold on to possession, but they're held up inside their own territory.
Yeah, worthy of a round of applause there.
Right, ball down the right hand side. Devaney after this one, but Ethan Pye gets there first. This is Ethan Pye, left-footed clearance up towards the halfway line. Camps trying to flick it on for Wootton. That's intercepted by Richards. Palace still with work to do to secure their passage into that fourth round draw. Just over a quarter of an hour to play here at Selhurst Park. Eze's goal early in the first half continues to separate the teams. This is BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Eze with a nice turn there. But his shirt has been pulled and repeatedly pulled. And that is going to be a free kick to Palace. Kyle Noel was the player, and he's going to get a yellow card for that. You get away with a little tug, but sustained pulling, that's where the referees will always blow you off.
Yeah, sustained pulling it sure was. You normally wait for that down the tunnel at the end of the game when you're swapping shirts, so I think you wanted it just a little bit too early. So there's going to be a few changes made here from Stockport County. 3.
Yeah, Stockport might as well go for it now. They're going to make this triple change. Jack Diamond, who celebrates his birthday today, he turns 25. Can he come on to mark the occasion here at Selhurst Park and do something against this Premier League opposition? Palace leading by a goal to 0. Diamond is coming on. Ryan Rydell is coming on. This will be his first appearance of this cup run. Kyle Wootton, the big tall centre forward, is one of those who is making way. So Jack Diamond coming on, Ryan Rydell as well. And the last of the changes is Michael Mellon. Mellon, the Scottish forward, so presumably he'll slot in where Wootton had been leading the attack up front. But from Dave Chalmers' point of view, might as well go for it now. No regrets later. Throw the kitchen sink and trying to get back into this game. If it goes to extra time, they can worry about that then. Palace are going to take advantage of this break in play to make a change of their own. Looks like Nathaniel Klein is going to come off. They held up the wrong number there, but it is Nathaniel Klein who'll depart. And Jeffrey Schlupp will come on in his place, so Schlupp can slot in that left wing back position. Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0. Free kick to Palace, midway inside their opponent's half. Stockport holding an offside line just outside the penalty area. Eze and Devene are the two standing over this. There's the whistle from the referee. Devene runs over it. Eze with a one-step run up, glances it into the box. Richards was close, falls for Kamada, never looked convincing over it, and he hoops it into the crowd.
No, Kamada there running onto the ball, coming down on the outside of the box on his left foot. It's a bit of a swing really, no real composure or control. But Stockport County have made substitutions, hopefully. Bit of impetus. Connection from back to front, but if they're going to go out, let's go out swinging, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the players who went off, by the way, Ibo Toure, who was playing at left wing back, has gone off. Isaac Olafe, who we thought had picked up a knock just a few minutes ago, he went off as well. And we mentioned the centre forward, Michael Mellon, coming on in place there. So, throw into Palace, attacking position down the right hand side. Jefferson Lerma wiping the ball on his shirt. Completely miscued an attempt to throw wearing gloves in the first half. He's discarded the gloves here. He wants to feel the leather of the ball. Here he comes, run up to the byline, swings it in, not great distance, hooks very cleverly by Kehi, and could have been in at the back post. It's just off target. Eddie Nketiah, how was that not 2-0?
Well, you feel as though he just needs one of them to go in, Eddie Nketiah, to get his run going. It's a long throw. I'll tell you what, Gehi does unbelievably well to hook that back in with his left foot on the byline. Comes all the way across to the far post. And Eddie Nketiah, I mean, it's a hard chance. He's diving at it. It's at a tough angle. Just couldn't direct it downwards, and over the bar it went.
His only goals for Palace so far have come in cup competition. Scored at Loftus Road against Queen's Park Rangers in September, and scored at the Emirates against his old team Arsenal in December. It's a rare Palace start today for Eddie Nketiah. He's had one or two chances like that he might have felt he might have done a little bit better with. In the main, though, credit's got to go to the Stockport County defence for limiting the opportunities that their Premier League opponents have had here so far. This is the FA Cup third round of the BBC, and we are reaching the closing stages of this match now. 10 minutes to play at Selhurst.
Well, obviously, it goes without saying that the next goal is obviously vital. If Crystal Palace to get it, you'd say that the tie would be over. You do feel if Stockport County can get a goal, they'd probably be on the ascendancy to maybe go and get another one.
It would very much rock the mood at Selhurst if the League One club could get this back on level terms. Still all to play for. Pai is brave on the halfway line. Kamada, though, ensures that Palace don't lose possession there. This is Eze. Tried to release the ball in front of Nketiah, came behind Nketiah, who's got to really hustle to try and keep it in play, and he was being held on to. And in fact, the flag was raised anyway, and Crystal Palace had veered offside, so that's a free kick to Stockport County, who still trail 1-0 in Sports Extra.
Yeah, when Eze had it there, I think Eddie Nketiah made a run in behind straight towards the Stockport County goal, and the ball didn't come. It took a ricochet, and then Eddie Nketiah had to then arc his run back round, but he was already in offside position.
Crystal Palace have got back-to-back away games to come in the Premier League. They go to Leicester, then to West Ham. The next home match here at Selhurst Park will be the visit of Brentford, and they very much hope that they'll be part of the FA Cup fourth round draw, which will come up at the end of this game. They're going to make the draw at the Emirates after that Arsenal against Manchester United game. Here at Selhurst Park, Stockport County on the attack. They have a throw-in. Norwood with a little touch. It comes back to Ethan Pai. All his outfield teammates ahead of him. Tries to play towards the edge of the penalty area. Controlled by Jack Diamond. He's got to lose out here. Clever play by Lerma. Deveni tries to return it to Lerma, but he in turn was tackled by Norwood, and the ball goes back to the goalkeeper, Adai.
Yeah, Jonathan Lerma there. We know what he's like when he can sniff half a yard of winning the ball. He's done that. He got it to Deveni and wanted the ball back into the channel, but Deveni just tried to cut back inside and go out the other way.
Still 1-1 of the Emirates. Arsenal won, 10-man Manchester United won. United had taken the lead in that game, but Diogo Dallo was sent off when it was 1-0, and Gabriel has equalised for Mikel Arteta's team. Remember, no replays. Any of these cup games that finish level after 90 minutes will go to extra time, and then penalties if required, to see which names are in that fourth round draw. Palace of possession. Matt Turner, the American goalkeeper, to Mark Gehi on the right hand side of defence. He plays it up over the halfway line. where a header is won by Ryan Rydell. He's come on as the left wing back. Then strong, robust challenge by Callum Connolly, but the officials say it's a fair one. Palace fans wanted a free kick there. Diamond will attack down the left. That's a great tackle. Richards had ground to make up. He slid in. He won the ball cleanly, and Crystal Palace regained possession, and they bring it up towards the halfway line.
It was a very, very well-timed tackle there from Richardson. It was a good job that he made connection with the ball, because if he didn't, he would have been sliding off the pitch.
Here comes Stockport. They're ready to throw the kitchen sink at it now. Macaulay Southam Hales sends it down that right channel. Attempted back heel by Will Collar, doesn't come off though. And the more that they commit bodies forward, Stockport, the more they risk being cut light to the back. And Ketia held up by Ethan Pye, fouled by him. Free kick to Crystal Palace just inside their own half. Still 1-0 to Palace.
I've got to say, he's done that really well tonight. I mean, a lot of people will judge Eddie Nketiah on his scoring numbers and assists, but what he does bring, and he's not the biggest, in terms of the striking role, but what he does is he uses his body so well. He takes his time to get in between the ball and the defender. He uses his strength. He brings players into the attack. He's really impressed me on that front today. If he can just get, I think it's going to come with game time and match fitness, because he looks a little bit off the pace, but once he's firing, he really is a dangerous player.
Another change for Stockport as they try to grab the late equaliser here. They'll take off the right wing back Kyle Noyle. They'll bring on a midfielder, Jay Mingy. Mingy, a former Charlton, Portsmouth, Maidenhead, Colchester player, 24 years of age. He comes on for the closing stages here. We've got just over 6 minutes of normal time remaining at Selhurst Park. Stockport fans who've travelled down from the north-west would love to celebrate a goal of their team, would love to get another 30 minutes here if we could get this cup tie into extra time. But as things stand, Crystal Palace of the Premier League are going through, albeit by a tight margin. Here is Ebeeze, midway inside Stockport County territory, gives it to Jeffrey Schlupp, the substitute on the far side. Back into Eze, swings it into the penalty area. Munoz backpedaling, difficult one to control, but he's done well. Gets it back down on the deck, has support behind from Mark Gehi. He plays a little 1-2 with Jefferson Lerma. Palace have been sensible here. The game management is impressive as they play it back to the halfway line and continue to frustrate Stockport County here and continue to sit in front of the League One side. Palace on the halfway line. Kamada, nothing fancy, turns, rolls it back to Chris Richards. Richards sees that Gehi has a bit of space. There was a late tackle that came in on Kamada long after the ball was gone there. He was slow to get back up to his feet, but he is back up as Munoz's heavy touch sees it spill away from him and out for a Stockport County goal kick. Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0, 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think Stuart Atwell there having a word with Will Collar. Just caught Kamada there, a little bit late, but you just feel as though Palace, when they move the ball really at pace and use the width of this pitch and just move this Stockport County team, especially towards the latter stages of this game, an opening will happen, and can they just kill it off?
Yes, can Stockport get that one big opportunity? Can they take it? At the very end of the first half, they had a corner, and Stuart Atwell blew the whistle before the corner was allowed to be taken. So, they're going to have to earn everything themselves here. Sprinting in on top of the goalkeeper, Michael Mellon there, but Matt Turner was able to clear it away. Mind you, that sprint forced a rushed clearance, and eventually it could come straight back again. Low ball into the centre. Richards slid down on his knees to chest it away. Good defending as the clearance is completed, and Palace get it back up to the halfway line once again. But Stockport are finishing this game well.
They are, and you can tell they're growing with confidence because they're just piling bodies forward. You can see that the more nerves are on the Crystal Palace front because they know they are literally defending on the edge.
Adai lashes it forward. Rydell tries to jump and win it. He's beaten in the air though by Mark Gehi. Then Stockport get a free kick. This is 15 yards outside the penalty area. It's too far out to shoot, but it's a good position here to swing a free kick into the penalty area. This could be the big chance they're waiting for with 4 minutes to play.
Oh, such a soft free kick to give away. Munoz there just pushing his arms out, and now with the quality, I think, with Ollie Norwood, who's actually he's running away from the ball. Nope, looks as though it's going to be Rydell that's just come on.
Well, Rydell must have a good free kick in him, because if Norwood is going to allow him to take it, because we know what a good set ball player he is.
I think they're fancying the left foot. We can see here we've got a great view of the corridor that he's probably going to try and wrap it into.
Closing stages at Selhurst Park. Palace 1-0 in front. Rydell's ball in, too close to the goalkeeper. Matt Turner stepping outside his 6-yard box and catching it comfortably.
Well, that's the difference sometimes when the top players deliver in the pressure moments. The ball was there. We had great view of it, didn't we? Behind there, we could see the avenue that he was trying to put it in, but too close to Turner.
We mentioned earlier on that Newcastle were 3-1 in front at home against Bromley. Manchester United still against Arsenal 1-1 at the Emirates. Manchester United, who've been playing the final half hour of that game with 10 men after Dallow's dismissal. Ipswich 3-0 in front of Bristol Rovers. Calvin Phillips, Jack Clark, Jack Taylor all on the score sheet at Portman Road. And here at Selhurst Park, 2.5 minutes of normal time remain. Devaney's done well. Kamara rolls it in front of Lerma. This can seal it. He waits, he dummies, he hesitates, he puts it over the top. Oh my word, Jefferson Lerma, if anything, he had too much time there. What a missed opportunity.
Do you know what? Sometimes you just kind of know your players, and as soon as the ball got put into him, he was one-on-one. I didn't have confidence in him in terms of finishing. You could see he was trying to put the goalkeeper Adai on his backside in terms of a feint to try and put it around with his right foot. He chops it back on his left. By that time, Stockport County players get back, and it flies over the crossbar.
16 league goals in his career for Jefferson Lerma. He's never scored in the FA Cup and should have scored there. Stockport County fans singing Premier League. You're having a laugh at him there that he didn't have the quality to put that away. That would have sealed it. Here comes Devaney. Oh, that's not a good challenge. Hacked down by Callum Connolly. He's going to go in the book for that. Free kick to Crystal Palace inside the Stockport County half. Stockport still a goal down.
He's been bright, Devaney, isn't he? He's come on every time he's got the ball. He's tried to pick it up, run, charge it. That Stockport County back line. He's really been a bright spark, trying to cause a little bit of mayhem in there and a little bit of quality. Now you're thinking that Crystal Palace, instead of probably going to get another goal, they want to just see this game out.
Free kick to Palace. Eze's goal inside 4 minutes, on the cusp of sending Palace through to round 4. We have got 45 seconds of the regulation 90 to go. There will be stoppages to add on. Eze swings it into the penalty area. Richardson, Lerma were alongside each other. Richardson headed back across the box. Norwood heads it out again. Palace will have an attacking throw-in down the right-hand side. They'll take their time over this, as Lerma spills to the ground once he had gone off the field of play.
Well, we can see now the Crystal Palace players retreating back to the halfway line, not really committing bodies forward. You know, they're going to really take the sting out of this game. The remaining few minutes, see this game out, maybe take the ball down to the corner flag.
Last time Stockport beat Premier League opposition was Middlesbrough, the League Cup in 1997. Their last FA Cup win against a top-flight opponent came in 1994. Danny Bagara's side, as it was back then, knocked Queen's Park Rangers out at Edgeley Park. We're into stoppage time here. 6 minutes to go. It's enough time. You could definitely score a goal in 6 minutes. Can Stockport County rise to the occasion here? Ryan Reynolds prepares to take the throw-in on the left-hand side. Palace just need to keep their sense and sensibility about them here. Reynolds taking a long time over this throw-in. Eventually just launches it down the left wing, trying to pick out Michael Mellon. Touched by Lerma. Reynolds' header, Mellon jumping, can't get a touch on it. Mark Gehi clears away for Crystal Palace. It's immediately launched back towards the Palace defence by Callum Connolly, but it goes straight out of play for a throw to the home side, and we've almost played one of the 6 minutes already.
Yeah, I can't see if Stockport are going to get a goal that it's going to be from brilliant play. It's going to be from some kind of attack where it's going to be direct or a set piece. Crystal Palace are going to just try and keep that ball as far away from their goal as possible, into the corners. As soon as it goes out of play, like it has done now, like just walking, taking his time, going to get the spare ball.
So Oliver Glasner on the verge of a win in his first ever FA Cup game in charge. Stockport on their way to being knocked out of the competition by the slenderest margin. They will have a game away to Reading next weekend in League One. Then they've got 2 home games in a row. They play Crawley and Shrewsbury. Can they muster a moment of FA Cup magic here? Can they grab a late equaliser? Norwood wins a free kick, played the ball off Lerma, leaves it for Rydell to take. Oh, hang on, he's not in the right position here. Takes the throw in anyway. Referee allows it up towards Mellon, who can't control. Mellon's not been able to hold it up as well as Wootton did earlier in the match. Pye down the left wing. kept in play by Gehi, high leg by Lerma, referee's okay with it, bounces awkwardly in front of Eze, but he controls well, and then Kamada over the top for Jeffrey Schlupp to run onto. The defender is Southern Hales, and he loses his feet. This is a chance to cross, in it comes from Schlupp, bravely defended by Connolly at the front post, and Norwood completes the clearance on the edge of the penalty area. Stockport throwing everything in attack, trying to get an equaliser here, and always in danger of the counter-attack, but Schlupp wasn't able to deliver much when he did get in around the back of the defence there. Launched long by Stockport. They have it with Mingy, one of their second half substitutes here. It's a pass that goes behind Ethan Pine. His legs will be tired now. He's going to sprint to keep it in play by the touchline, but he does. Stockport County still midway inside their own half. They give it to their quarterback in inverted commas, Oliver Norwood. Can he launch a long ball? Can't get it in behind Munoz. Munoz header wins possession back for Crystal Palace, and then Lerma was closed down as he tried to clear it away by Will Collar. Last touch off Collar. Throw into Crystal Palace. We're midway through the 6 minutes of stoppage time at Sellers Park.
Yeah, it really is a last-ditch effort from Stockport County. When the balls do go forward, if they can't get first contact, can they just feed off the scraps, just get on the second balls? Crystal Palace looking there from Munoz.
Munoz been urged to get on with it here by referee Stuart Atwell. I think it's the best credit you can play Stockport that Crystal Palace are wasting time late on here.
Well, you have to say, if you actually look at, other than the goal that Crystal Palace have scored today, that he hasn't really had much to do in terms of saves. You know, Palace have, I'd say, dominated most of the game in terms of possession, but real clear-cut chances. They've not as if they peppered Stockport County's goal.
Yeah, it's going to be only a third home win of the campaign. Not been altogether convincing in a week in which they have had a bug sweep through the squad, and maybe that'll be part of the reasoning from Oliver Glasner, but you wouldn't say that there has been two divisions of quality difference between the two teams we've seen here today, and that's why Stockport will feel there's still a chance, even this late. Still a chance as Callum Camps loses his footing just outside the penalty area on the right hand side, but wins a throw in for his team. Southern Hales is going to take it. He's going to launch this into the box deep in stoppage time now. 90 seconds of the 6 minutes remaining. An attacking throw in for League One Stockport County. Macaulay Southern Hales, player who started his career at Cardiff. It's also just had to move something out of the way there to get as long a run up as he could. Launches it into the penalty area, needs a flick on, but Lerma jumped well. Back out to Southern Hales. Can he deliver the cross? Eze shadowing in front of him. Here it comes into the penalty area. Richards heads it away, and out it goes for another throw in. This is one last chance for League One Stockport County here.
That's what they needed to do, wasn't it? Get balls in the box, get on the second ball, sustain the attacks, put a bit of pressure on Crystal Palace.
Can someone become an FA Cup hero for Stockport County? Southern Hales, here he comes, arching his back, swinging his arms, throwing the ball into the penalty area. Richards heads it away for Crystal Palace, and then a very deliberate foul by Ryan Rydell, who was hanging on to Eddie Nketiah there like a rugby tackle to ensure that he couldn't break away. He knew he was the last defender there. That is a free kick to Crystal Palace, and that might well be that. 30 seconds of the 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, Crystal Palace really taking this thing now out of this game, just walking around trying to retrieve the ball. I wouldn't even say the free kick was taken there, it was deeper, but Eddie Nketiah again doing what he does best, trying to hold the play up, take the sting out of the game for his teammates.
Free kick taken by Matt Turner. He came well outside his penalty area to blast it long down towards the penalty area at the other end. Eze can't control. Goal kick to Stockport. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds of the originally allocated 6 minutes. It's at the discretion of Stuart Atwell, the referee now. Eze controls on the halfway line. A little bit of ball juggling. Kamada rolls it in front of Nketiah. He's running against a tired Callum Connolly. Eze will get it back. Edge of the penalty area. This can seal it. Deveni! What a save and dive! Deveni the second time into the side netting. Well, Emericha Eze was so unselfish there. He tried to tee up Deveni. Justin Deveni's shot brilliantly saved by Corey Adai, and that proves to be the final action of the day here. Crystal Palace go through, but credit to Stockport County of League One. They gave this everything, and they only were narrowly beaten in the end.
Exactly, credit there for Stockport County. Made it a real cup tie, made it hard for Crystal Palace. You think after 4 minutes, with Eze leading a goal and getting his team in front, that this could be a hard day or a hard afternoon for Stockport, but they've given it a go, and Crystal Palace had to work for it. They've got over the line. It's all about getting into the hat for the next round. They've done that. I think it's brilliant that we've seen him produce a strong team. The performance was okay. It got the job done, but a good cup tie. I enjoyed it.
Right, well, it is all over here. Crystal Palace will march into the fourth round of the FA Cup. Just to update you on what's happened elsewhere, it looks like Arsenal and Manchester United are going into extra time. It's 1-1 in stoppage time there. Manchester United down to 10 men. Ipswich are through. They have beaten Bristol Rovers by 3-0 at Portman Road. Newcastle United are through to the fourth round. They were given a scare by Bromley but won the match 3-1 in the end. And Southampton underway against Swansea, the Premier League club in front there. Sulemana has scored after 20 minutes, so Southampton 1, Swansea 0. And that game continuing as we speak. Well, thanks very much for Steve Sidwell for being alongside us here at Selhurst Park. It took a moment of Premier League quality to win this game for Crystal Palace. That moment was provided by Ebericha Eze. They didn't have much other sparkling moments, but sometimes one is all you need. Eze's classy finish has put Crystal Palace through. Full-time score here, Crystal Palace 1, Stockport County 0.